Hello.
Hello, everybody, and welcome
Hello, everyone.
to Dice Tales and our special evil one-shot prequel to the regular Dice Tales campaign, Kallista, A Shot in the Dark. Oh no, did you bring like a super fluffy character who's just all sunshine all the time?
No, not again.
Not again. Never again.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on this lovely Saturday night. This is as close as we're getting to a Halloweeny episode. It's our spooky bad guy one shot. So we will be bringing you some evil entertainment to get you in the Halloweeny mood. Before our show, we got some of our regular shout outs to give, and Brad is going to, I don't know how to say this, like I was gonna say serenade, but that's not what you do with a poem. To woo you.
Going to wax philosophical.
I'm going to introduce our sponsors.
Fine.
Through poetry, though, because let's be honest, I'm me and I'm a little bit extra on most days. I wish I could take credit for writing this poem, this week or even today, but I wrote it like 2 years ago. We're recycling content at this point, but it's
They didn't need to know that, Brad.
Wow.
But no, they
I don't want to mislead people.
can't unring a bell, bud.
He's trying to be transparent.
Pontificate. I like that. That's good.
Pontificate.
Word. So, when in the frantic rush of early morn, racing about the house in panic haste, mindful of gaming plans to which I'm sworn, I thank my lucky stars for character case. Delving dungeons deep and adventures grim, with traps, goblins, and a daring caper, what makes a party's hopes look quite so dim as a map drawn out on gaming paper? And when the heat of battle rages on, with no chance for our heroes of escape, rolling dice till the final foe is gone, who sings our victory song but Sirenscape? To our generous sponsors, our thanks we give. Here's hoping our characters all will live. Character Case has been one of our sponsors since we started doing the show. I don't have mine with me. It's actually in my car waiting for the next live game that I get to play. But it's a great way to take all of your... it's a great way to take your minis, your dice, your character sheets, everything that you need to play your game and keep it all in one spot so you don't lose or forget anything. Gaming Paper has been a phenomenal sponsor of ours, providing our maps for our live games, sponsoring our podcast and our stream as well. Check them out at gamingpaper.com for all of your map making needs. They've got a lot of great content there. And then lastly, a big shout out for Sirenscape, who provides the soundtrack for our games. If you're looking to add an element of adventure and ambiance to your home game, check them out online or in your favorite app store. They're also going to be providing the soundtrack for this evening.
Oh, that's such a nice sound.
Sparkles. All right.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Brad. As always, we are still raising money for Dog Story Theater. So you can see there's a bit.ly link up on the top of the screen, and also it will be dropped in the chat now and again. We are raising money to hopefully help herald Dog Story's return when things get to a point where we can come back again and help with putting a down payment on a venue. But in the meantime, there are storage costs for the things that belong to Dog Story Theater that money can help cover. So our love for Dog Story continues. We know the communities does too. We would appreciate anything that you are willing to put towards them. All right. If you are somebody who contributed to our earlier Dog Story fundraiser and you still have your action point and have not used it, you could be saving it for the main campaign, or you could decide to use it tonight. So if you want to use the action point, you can use it on something I roll or something that the characters roll. You just put in the chat action point, and you can just yell that out all caps so that we stop the game, and we will force a re-roll and maybe change fate, and it will be all on you. You can feel bad if it goes terribly wrong after that. All right, our final shout out here, we want to give a big thank you to our artist who has provided us portraits of our characters for this one shot. And it is Barb Williams, and we love Barb so much and are so appreciative of how quickly she turned out these amazing portraits. So we posted them on our Facebook too if you want to look at them in more detail. But you can see them here as well of our evil members of the Steel Brotherhood this evening. So thank you so much, Barb. We love her. Okay.
Yay.
Did I miss anybody or anything?
Yeah, one real quick thing.
Yes.
One last thing. We want to give a big thank you also to Jake Norman at Mini Terrain Domain on Twitch. He has, we lovingly refer to him as our stream dad because he has been teaching us everything there is to know about streaming on Twitch. And he is a big part of why we can be here tonight, still doing Dice Tales. So Jake, thank you so much.
Give him a follow. Follow his channel.
For sure. Mini Terrain Domain. He's worth it.
Heck yeah. All right. So with that, we're going to start getting into things. Just a reminder that this is the other gift that we have in exchange for hitting that fundraiser goal. We had you guys vote on which member of the regular Dice Tales campaign you are interested in seeing their backstory explored via a one-shot. And the votes went to Kallista because you guys are either really goth or just really like dark, depressing things, or just want to watch us suffer, or all of the above. But we're excited to do this and see where it goes.
So
Spoilers, Kallista makes it out somehow.
Spoiler alert, Kallista lives.
Spoiler alert, Kallista lives through this one. I know, shocking.
Last words.
Plot armor.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is everything. So in this case, thank you, Barb. Then we are going to begin Kallista, A Shot in the Dark. The ancient, sprawling city of Erebar, capital of Chondeth, is a city known for its military might and the many companies of mercenary forces stationed there. Ironic, perhaps, that beneath the city's clean, well-maintained exterior lurks a powerful criminal underbelly, one that perhaps strikes closer to the true character of Chanda's state of fallen glory. Grasping ambition, hard-nosed practicality, and an appreciation for ruthless efficiency mark the most prominent of these organizations, and none more than that of the Steel Brotherhood. Led by Lucian Greycastle, the Brotherhood has managed to snake a finger into most criminal enterprises in Erebar. Murder for hire, smuggling, protection schemes, and bribery serve as the tip of a far-reaching iceberg, led by the glacial Greycastle himself, arrogant, impassive, and untouchable, in no small part due to the reputation of his daughter, Kallista. Trained as a weapon from the time of her birth, Lucian's daughter bore the outward marks of her mother's fiendish nature, and he worked to instill in the tiefling a recognition of the fact that she had been born dark, and that from that darkness within herself, there was no escape. Our story begins inside the Greycastle Guildhall, headquarters to the Brotherhood. While on the streets outside, murmurs of an impending civil war race through the streets. Inside here, it's business as usual for the hardened lieutenants of the Brotherhood. In the interior courtyard, lined with a peculiar sooth tree, whose gray bark branches grow practically horizontally, intertwining with each other to create an impenetrable wall along either side of the yard, an arrow whizzes through the air, landing shy of the mark on the circular target board hanging from one of the trees, pocked with many holes from being so oft used. Carrie, would you please describe your character?
Thessara is an elf, tan-complected, and quite notably missing an eye, which she covers up in kind of a last-ditch attempt at vanity. She wears very light armor. She carries a bow as well as a rapier, and always has on her countenance an expression of either total stoicism or raging anger, like everybody is one wrong word away from a fight.
All right. And as your arrow hits off from the mark, twanging into the board,
Damn it.
you would
And I
see
just, yeah.
that there's somebody entering and crossing the courtyard. Liz, would you describe yourself?
Well, I'm a pretty, okay, so teal skin. I'm a late teen. You can kind of tell I'm late teens. I have a forked tail with a point on the end. I do have horns. Long, dark black hair pulled back in a ponytail. Wearing almost all black pants, black boots, with some like leather straps, holding some daggers on my thighs. I have a quiver on my back, and I'm carrying a bow in my hands.
You see her crossing the courtyard towards the targets where you stand, Tess.
I pull the arrow out before she can see that I missed, and I get like a real quick like peck right into
Kallista,
the...
make a perception check.
Can I make a sleight of hand?
Yes, you may.
I got a 16.
10.
Okay, you managed to get it out before she sees.
Yep. Kallista.
Practicing?
Oh, yes. Certainly.
Good.
Trying always to get better. Some of us actually need it.
Some of you do.
Well, what do I owe this pleasure to? A meeting with the heiress.
I live here. I am just walking through.
Care to practice? Friendly competition.
I am on my way somewhere, but perhaps next time.
Tess, you can make a diplomacy check or an intimidate check, depending on how you would like to do it.
Diplomacy probably. I got a 12.
Okay. Make a will save then, Kallista.
Four.
It is difficult to resist that target hanging across the way, marked with so many of your arrows as it is.
It won't take you much time, unless you're afraid you would lose.
All right. Perhaps my errand can wait a little bit.
I go over to where I was shooting from before and I line up for a shot. Say, care to make it interesting? A
I'll
little
stop.
gold on it. A little gold on it.
You're on. How much?
How does 50 sound?
Fine.
I line up for a shot.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack.
It's a 15 to hit.
Okay, a 15 is a really solid mark. So your arrow whizzes through the air and hits very close, like on the inside of the target. It's right on that line between the middle of the target and the next circle out. So it still could count as you hit the middle.
How far away from the target are we?
At this point, you guys are 40 feet.
All right. I step up to the line and draw my bow. "22. I look at her as I release the arrow.
And as her eyes cut away from you, Tess, the arrow going through the air, somehow managing to knock your arrow out, even before it lands closer to the dead center of the mark. And then, Kallista, you hear your father's voice in your head, saying words he's said to you often. Shoot straight, eyes on the target. But you couldn't resist this little bit of looking her right in the eyes as she did it.
Damn it. And I say under my breath, and then I drop a pouch of gold in the dirt. I say, perhaps if we all had the equipment that Daddy Dearest gives you.
You can blame it on the bow all you want.
I believe I will.
Perhaps
Good day.
And at that moment, somebody actually pushes the doors open that lead up the steps into the main gathering room of the guild hall on the other side. And you would see a 16-year-old half-orc coming down the stairs, one you know well. His name is Ogan Deathsong. He has cropped, wavy silver hair and golden eyes that are quite striking for a half-orc, and grayish skin, a very muscular build. And you both know him very well. Tess knows him even better because he often tries to get a moment to speak with Tess whenever he can. But at this moment, his eyes seem fixed on Kallista as he's making his way down the stairs, and he gestures to her from the steps.
I will walk over to him and leave the bag of gold in the dirt.
And as you get closer to Ogan, he would say, "Your father's been he's been asking if you were back. He'd like to speak to you as soon as he can."
Very well.
And then he
Do I
steps back. He's not trying to be quiet, so yes, you can easily hear all of that. And he clearly gives Kallista a berth to go past him up the stairs, like he doesn't want to be too close to her.
Uh-huh.
And just watches her.
I notably get a little closer to Ogan, and I kind of put my hand on his shoulder. And I'm like, the rest of us need to practice. Why don't you go to your very important meeting, Kallista?
I don't look back. I just keep walking.
Right. Up the stairs you go, and Ogan, who is still standing next to you, and you've got your arm on him here.
As soon as she's gone, I take my hand off his shoulder.
He sort of looks down at where your hand just was and says, how are you today, Tess?
I'm great. I'm practicing. What do you want?
Nothing. Never mind. You can tell you're in a mood, and so doesn't want to engage. And he says, you should come in. We're having a game.
Sure. And I pick my gold up off of the dirt and, like, put it on my belt.
Okay. Meanwhile, moving inside into the common room, the doors that you go through, Kallista, are marked with a familiar sigil of a dagger upright with a viper twining up it, mouth open, fangs extended in mid-strike, the mark of the Steel Brotherhood. As you push the doors open, you would hear the sounds of conversation inside, where 3 other members of the Brotherhood are gathered in the common room here. So why don't we begin with, I'll go in order right here. Chuck, can you describe your character for us and what you are doing?
Yep. So you see before you a kind of tall human with a great big orange beard, slightly balding because he's older. He's got an eye patch. He's missing one leg. He's got a peg leg, and there's a macaw on his shoulder, and he's just hanging out, telling a story to whoever will listen.
And whoever will listen, whether they want to be or not, that would be Mortimer and Slick Lou. So Russ, why don't you describe your character?
All right, you see before you a human, kind of short, 5'5", skinny, almost skeletal with pallid skin, and silver blue sunken eyes that seem to like be a little bit too open and kind of stare into your soul every time he makes eye contact with you. His meticulously slicked back black hair and a huge grotesque burn scar down the whole right side of his face. He's sitting down and clacking his fingers together with 2 prosthesis, middle finger and his ring finger. And he just looks like he has like a permanent skull, like just talking to people is such an inconvenience. And he's wearing a studded leather apron, and you can see a bunch of like bottles and pouches around his belt. And for the more perceptive people, you could see a little lump on his right shoulder.
And Brad.
Slick Lou is about 3 feet tall, 3.5 feet tall, and he is a reddish-brown skinned kobold. He's wearing a black knit cap through which his spikes stick out through crudely cut holes. Of his 4 main fangs, one of the bottom ones is missing, and the alternate top one has been replaced with a gold fang. He's wearing a black leather jerkin that's sleeveless, a shiny gold chain around his neck. He has a black onyx ring on one finger, and a belt that is just covered in little pouches and satchels. And he is seated at the table. There are 6 daggers in front of him, and he is cleaning them meticulously before disappearing them into various pockets where they can no longer be seen.
All right. So, Kallista, you walk in on them as Barney. What kind of story are you currently telling?
So I was hot on the chase, looking out at that great white shark, and I was catching him, and all of a sudden, I turn round and see a giant turtle on my trail. So it's that kind of story. That's the kind of story.
That kind, like you do.
That's what you hear, Kallista, as you're walking through
I
this
don't
room.
break stride. I kind of give them the side eye as I walk past, especially Barney. Then I kind of roll my eyes and keep walking.
So the 3 of you would notice her walk by, and you would notice her not stop at all to give you the time of day remotely as she heads towards the doors to Lucian's receiving hall.
I forgot one detail.
Oh boy.
Slick Lou's tail sticks out behind him, and about 6 inches from the end, it's bent as if it has been broken horribly and healed incorrectly. Not that that really matters at all, but just for the full visual.
I like it.
We got it now.
Right. Okay. So, Kallista, you're going straight for the door. So the doors open up, and you head inside. And moments later, Tess and Ogun will enter the room. And Ogun will say, yeah, we were gonna get a game of darts going, if you'd be interested.
If anybody is brave enough to play darts against me, and I hold up.
Somebody'll do darts. Lou, you good at darts, aren't you?
I've been known to throw some darts every now and then. Why? Who's asking?
Me and Tess, we were wondering if you'd throw some darts with us.
Yeah, I could do that. Not a problem.
And he kind of side eyes towards the door where Kallista went. You guys can make a sense motive check if you would like.
Sure, why not?
9.
You're too
I'm
angry.
already thinking
Too
about my
angry.
victory in darts to
5.
end the wound.
15.
How much, Mortimer?
15.
Ooh, and Barney?
I did get a nat 20, so...
Oh! Okay. Mortimer, you notice this, and Barney picks up quite a bit more about it. But you would notice that Ogun seems a little off. He is nervously looking in the way that Kallista left. And Barney, you're an old soul who's been around here a while. You know how things go. You know that Ogun has had his eye on Tess for some time and is very interested in her. And you know that there's a lot of bad blood between Tess and Kallista. And so he seems to be trying to put Tess at ease about what just happened or some things to make her so she won't be so upset. So something must have just gone down between them, and he doesn't want her to be embarrassed by having it come up.
Choose your words carefully, Chuck.
As he goes to gather up all the darts out of the board.
Did anybody
Tess
else
takes a
catch
drink
that?
of.
I'm sorry, what were you talking about, Bonnie? I tend to tune you out.
I could just see something in Tess's eyes. Something that looked complex and hard to explain.
Well, she's only got the one, so I don't know what you was seeing.
Thank you for pointing out the dreadfully obvious. Once again, Slick Lou.
And Ogun turns around. He hands darts out to everybody here.
I
It's all right.
prefer to be the red dots, if that's all right.
It's fine. And he leans towards Tess and he goes, "Which one's the red one?" As you know, he's colorblind.
Colorblind. Oh, it's I hand him the red ones into his hand, which I already had, and I was like,
He swaps them out and he hands them over to Lou.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
do you always
Ladies
just
first.
get the do you just get the red darts because they match your aesthetic?
No, it's because red's my lucky color.
Let's see how lucky it is.
And he's going to go ahead and throw first. So it's just a ranged attack, which will be your base attack plus your dex mod for this. And he got a whole 6. So his dart goes outside the board on the wall, which is also littered with holes from many such mistakes.
I kind of smirk at him, and I throw my dart, and I don't even look at the board as I'm doing it. I got a nat 20.
Yeah, and I wonder who you're thinking of as you throw it without looking at it.
And it goes like a little deeper into the board than it probably should, but
You can imagine her face like printed on a paper. Makes it a little better.
Yep.
You guys would all see that. Tess is usually more of a dead eye when she's angrier, so
Dead eye. For one
the
dead
one
eye.
dead eye.
It's perfect, yeah. And then I just kind of turn to Slick Lou.
He will look and kind of stick his tongue out through the missing hole of where his fang is as he aims, and I rolled a 22.
Oh, nice. All right. What was yours total then, Tess?
Mine
You
was
got your
20,
nat
26 total.
Okay, so hers is still more impressive, but you still get a dang good
It's the bullseye.
center
I hit the
bullseye.
triple 20. It's fine.
Exactly. You don't do it without looking, but it's still awesome. All right. And Ogun's like, yeah, see, we're having fun. This is fun.
I want to sense motive, Ogun. Can I do that?
Yes, you can.
It'd be more fun if we put money on this game.
Fudge. I got an 8 sense motive.
He rolled very poorly, got a 4, so yeah, you can pick it up now. You kind of get the vibe something's off. He's not just trying to have a fun evening.
I'm kind of like almost ready to throw another dart, and then I just like stop, and I'm like, what's wrong?
Nothing? What?
Ogun, what is wrong?
Well, what did I walk in on out there?
If I'm being very honest, Kallista taking advantage of all of her gifts from her father.
Again.
Always.
We gonna gab or we gonna play?
Well, this is important.
Yeah.
Julie and I were just talking about this, and Bess was bringing it up too. It's the same thing. We've been trying to get better armor, and Lucian tells us we don't have it. He's got so much money. We have it. And then look what I just saw her walk through here. You see what she's wearing.
Yes, and then she has the gall to look at us and say that we are inferior.
I mean, you guys see it too, right? We're not crazy. He looks at the other 3.
I make an intimidation check on all 3 of them, please.
All right, they all have to make will saves against your roll.
It might hit. You guys have a real good chance here. I got a 14.
Natural 20 for a 20.
Yeah, you're such a brave little guy.
He doesn't care. What did Barney and Mortimer get? Will save.
I was muted. 8.
6.
Okay. Both of you are a little intimidated by Tess. She's a little unhinged once in a while, you think, so it'd probably be better to just agree with her.
Yes. Yes, of course. I could definitely use more from my resource.
Ha yes indeed.
I mean, personally, I think Arma's a bit overrated, and frankly,
Shut up,
the
Lou.
best second story man that the Brotherhood's ever seen. So, I don't know. You guys keep complaining. I'll make a
Lou.
Hogan goes to throw another dart, but he crit failed, and it's actually as Lou was going to pull his dart out, and it hits Lou in the back as he's heading over there. So it also manages to cut off what he's saying right now, but it's totally on purpose. And Hogan's just like,
Lucky color, huh? Red is your lucky color.
Luck is an illusion. you know this.
Armor would have helped with that.
He's right.
Find it too restricting.
All right, well, Stern's the same. She gets the training, she gets everything. She gets the spoils.
Everything.
But you know what I've been hearing? I've been hearing from Bess is that she's up to something. And he sort of sits on the table, or like near the table, and gestures for you guys to get closer,
Huddle.
casting
Huddle up.
another nervous look towards the doors.
As Lou is walking over, he's gonna cast Mage Hand so that the hand can go around and pull the dart out of his back that he couldn't reach,
He's like, ah.
as well as pull the rest of the darts off the board so that he can throw them while they're sitting and listening.
Awesome. And he says, we think she's got some kind of secret. There's gotta be some chink in that fancy armor of yours. Tess, I think you should see if you can figure out what it is.
It would be my pleasure.
All right. Meanwhile, inside of the room, Kallista is heading in to meet with Lucian. When you head into the receiving hall, the long hall where he will usually talk to all members of the Brotherhood, you would find that he isn't there, which means the only place he can be is in his private office, which is beyond the door at the other end.
Is that door closed?
The door is closed.
I go up and I knock twice on the door.
There's barely a breath before your father's voice cuts through and says, "Enter."
I silently open the door and walk through and shut it behind me.
Okay.
And I just stand there and look at him.
All right. You slip inside of his office, and you would see that he is already standing, and he's got his back to you. Lucian Greymark is a towering man who seems almost to be cut from granite in some ways. You can see his dark black hair beginning to streak with some silver at the temples, but somehow that only makes him look more intimidating. And a dark goatee as he turns in profile, pulling up a drink. His usual glass of Ceylon Glowfire, which has a slight luminescence to it. And the aromatic wine conjures images of summer breezes as it fills the room.
I stand with
dressed
sorry.
He's dressed in blue and gold half plate with a ruff of white fur around the dark gray cloak that he sports. And he waits for you to speak.
I stand with my hands clasped in front of me and my head slightly bowed. And I just say, "It is done."
And he takes the glass and very slowly sips it. And finally he sets it down. And only then does he turn to look at you, regarding you with cold eyes. "I want your report."
Kingbridge had hired probably double the guards we thought he had. He was apparently unintimidated by the message that we sent last week. Foolishly.
His eyes narrow a bit at that.
I do not know what he was paying them, but whatever it was far too much, because evading them was like child's play. Next time, find me a hard assignment.
He gives a humorless smirk at that and then turns back, placing both hands on the smoke cart.
I managed to get in and out without killing any of the guards. They did not even know I was there. Kingbridge,
Well,
of course, knows I was there. But he will never know anything again, so.
You're sure there'll be no more problems?
Unless he somehow comes back from the grave.
Possible. What did you do with the body?
I left it as a message, minus its head.
No.
Very well. And he stands again and walks around the desk. And you would see that text lay sort of strewn across the desk in various languages. You know Lucian to be an avid reader and a practiced linguist, always studying other languages, all the better to extend the reach of the Brotherhood. There's a fancy crossbow mounted on the wall behind him, but he actually walks over to where he has a glass case sitting on the wall, through which there is a few branches and leaves, and you would see the slithering shape of a snake wind its way through the branches. And he sort of holds a hand up in front of the glass, not touching it. And the snake turns its head, its tongue slowly extending, sniffing the air. He says, I have another task for you already.
As you command.
Not yet. Take an hour and return. I need you in top shape for this.
Very well.
Why do you stand there? Go.
I will return in an hour. And I turn and leave.
Okay. He does not look at you again as you head out of the doors. All right. You're
I glance back over my shoulder, kind of, as I leave. Before I'm in sight of anyone else. Like, as I'm getting back out into the receiving chamber. And
Yes.
then I look back forward and I leave.
You are alone in that moment to look back at the doors, which close behind you. And then you walk out and see this group of people all sort of gathered around the table. And as you walk in, like Ogun sits up and he just sort of throws his arm back over his chair and he's like, hey, get the darts. Let's do another round.
Agreed. Let's do another round.
Do I
Slick Luke and lose again.
do I sense that they were in the middle of something that they rapidly ended when they saw me?
Make a sense motive check. Hogan gets a nat 20 bluff, so I guess he is
God, he's so smart for an orc.
How many? So some of these folks are humans, right?
Yes.
Barney is.
So I have a bonus against humans for sense motive.
And Mortimer is also human.
Oh.
Despite rumors to the contrary, he's a human.
Humanish.
So against the non-humans, it's a 19. Against the humans, it's a 21.
Okay. So you guys can roll your bluff checks to see how good you are at hiding what was just going on here.
I got a 12, only for bluff.
We'll do successes versus fails. So now they have evened out because Ogun succeeded.
10.
It's a fail.
18.
It's a fail, right? Kallista, what'd you get? Yeah. And Barney?
I did, in fact, get another 20.
Oh.
I got 2 nat 20s in there. So, Kallista, you think something was going on, but you don't necessarily pinpoint it as being about you or that shady. There's a lot of shady things that get talked about in this brotherhood of evil, shady people. So,
That's what it says on our jackets.
Shady.
The Brotherhood of Evil Shady People.
you know, as you do.
We're gonna go fight the sharks later today. Okay.
I'm going to close the receiving room door behind me, and then I'm going to just kind of step to the side and cross my arms and lean against the wall and just watch them impassively.
Okay. And Ogan is going to do another round of darts here, so he get another nat 20 bluffs, or will save here. He's just not deterred by Kallista's presence. He's just gonna pretend that this is what we were doing, because we were. It's true. All right, Lou, you gotta make up for me doing that to you here. Sorry, you can go first.
Right.
Kallista, you want in on this?
No, thank you.
All right.
Of course she doesn't. She's afraid she would lose.
Clearly, I lose all the time.
That's going to be another 22.
Okay, another really great bullseye from Lou, who is proving he is very slick indeed. And then Ogan will get an 8, so once again, he's barely hitting the outside of the board.
I got a
Not
25.
working so good. And then you show everybody up again, Tess.
And I throw it harder than I threw the last one.
Okay. It's easy to notice that, Kallista, so you can make a perception check.
15.
15. Yeah, you hear that really like noise of it digging in there and it vibrating for a second extra hard.
I just smirk at her.
Kallista, if you're not going to play, perhaps you should go somewhere else. I don't like being watched particularly.
I think I will
Stand on
go
the
where I,
bad side. She wouldn't be able to tell anyway.
I will go wherever I please.
Is
What-
that so? Wherever you please. I suppose this whole place is yours, isn't it? Everything in it is yours. What a nice life it must be for you.
I say nothing.
I turn around and keep throwing darts.
Okay. Anybody else doing or saying anything?
I got a 20 on my next dart throw.
Nice. What are Mortimer and Barney doing over there?
Mortimer is. Go ahead, Chip.
So I turned to Mortimer and I'm like, so there I was, staring right in the face of the Kraken. And he was coming at me, and then he bit my leg off like it was a snack.
I thought you
That's-
said the turtle bit your
In
leg
a-
off.
No, it was a Kraken. That was a completely different story.
Incredible, Barney. And he's just gonna start writing in a journal.
And Ogan turns away from the board where he was about to throw, probably terribly again, and he says, "You can't expect us to keep them all straight, Barney. It's like a news story every morning and then night again. I can't remember all these."
Yes, there are plot holes and inconsistencies all
What?
the time.
I seen it with my one good eye.
Yes, I'm sure.
As we're still playing, I say, so Kallista, what did Daddy have to say?
My conversation with my father is private. It's classified.
It's
I turned to-
pedestrian.
I turn to Ogan and I say, it's classified.
Oh, yeah, I get classified meetings with Lucian all the time.
Don't we all?
Perhaps someday you will earn his trust as well.
Working on it.
Trust is a
Yeah.
thing that is earned, it is not given.
Well, I mean, he's put Tess here on the next mission. He said so. I heard him say it.
He certainly is.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Kallista, make a perception check.
$11.
Okay. All that you catch as your eye kind of traces across the room, there's a doorway that they're all sort of facing away from as they're sort of looking at you or at each other, and then you're angled on the wall where you can see that door. You see just a flash for a moment in the doorway of like a white, blonde, silver, and then it's gone.
I'll wait for about 5 seconds, and then I'll kind of push off the wall, kind of look at them a little bit longer, and then turn around and walk out of the room.
Okay.
I want to follow her,
I thought so. All right.
but at a reasonable distance.
Go ahead.
I wink to Ogun before I leave.
And Ogun is like nodding, like, yeah, this is your chance. All right, so you're gonna make a stealth check, Tess.
Oh, Jesus.
And then Kallista, as you're heading out of here, these hallways actually like will cut through sort of the study, or there's like a library area that Lucian has. Is that a 20?
I got a nat 20
Woo-hoo-hoo!
plus
Nat
10.
20
We
from
never rolled
10.
this high in our actual game.
Yeah, we gotta save this for in case we actually gotta kill
I'm
someone.
rolling my evil test dice. That's the difference.
All right, so you follow. Kallista has no idea with her 11 perception that you are trailing her slowly in the shadows. So Kallista, as you are heading through the library area, make one other perception check for me.
$26.
Oh, just enough. I was looking for a 25, so that will just barely get in here. So Kallista, as you're walking past one of the small nooks, like alcoves on the side here, there's a hand that darts out to grab your arm, and luckily you see just barely who it is before they tug you in there, because otherwise you might have done something that would be regrettable. But you do instantly recognize that this is Theris as he pulls you into the alcove, and instantly one hand goes to your hip and he pulls you into a warm kiss.
I put my hand on his chest and not here.
And he smirks.
Do you have a death wish?
I would not love such a dangerous woman if I didn't have something of a death wish.
That is good. Let's find somewhere more private.
I think so too, but I wanted to make sure you were all right.
Why would I not be all right?
I knew you would be all right. I'm not doubting you, but I still feel some relief when you come back.
Well, I cannot say that is not nice to hear. At least someone is glad to see me when I come back.
They're not hassling you again, are they?
When have they ever not? They are jealous.
They don't understand.
I think the problem is that they do understand. In some ways. And in other ways, it is far too easy for them to blame their own shortcomings on advantages they think that I gain because I share blood with Lucian.
It's true. They think that you eclipse their greatness. They only see the darkness. And he would say, they don't see Milo me. And you would know at least that elven word because he's told you what it means many times. And it means fair night or a night of stars. It's a word for night in Elvish that has no connotations of gloom or fear, but
What a
beauty instead.
dreamboat.
My God.
And
Is it hot in here?
Getting the vapors.
Tess, as you are creeping through the library, you are catching every word of this, and you position yourself in a place where you can see into the shadows, where Kallista indeed is standing quite close to this figure Theris that you know of as a about 20-year-old half-elven rogue who's a member of the Steel Brotherhood, who's been a member here for about a year. And physically, he's a direct contrast to everything that Kallista is. He's sort of light to her dark. So he has white blonde hair, very pale skin, and light eyes as well. And he would finally draw back from her, but he would grab your hand and kiss it very quickly before dropping it and say, "How long do you have?"
I have probably 45 minutes.
Can they be mine?
I have a few things that I would like to discuss with you before I leave.
Of course. I will find you later then. Maybe 5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. And he will give you a small smirk, and you would see that the eyes of those you just saw and talked to in the other room were those of the hardened criminals here in the Brotherhood. And maybe it's because he hasn't been with this group for very long, but there are moments like now where his eyes, not as hard, seem to gentle, just for you, just for a moment. And he lets you go.
Before he walks away, I kind of snag his hand.
He
After
stops.
kind of like looking over my shoulder to see if I see anyone. And assuming Tess is still here.
Yeah, she's still nat 20 hidden. Between the books, looking through.
We will not always sneak around, you and I. Soon, we are going to leave here. And we're not going to look back.
I believe that.
I let him go.
And he gives another sort of dazed smile. And then the two of them head out, staggered a few minutes apart. Tess, you are left with this information.
Okay. So Tess stands there and she's kind of stunned. And because she's had her suspicions, but she's never seen it.
Yup.
And not only is this damaging to us as a team, but Tess has no one. And the fact that not only does Kallista have everything, she has him. That is, she immediately goes and wants to talk to Lucian.
Okay. And you will head back as Kallista heads to her room. And you will pass through the room again where the darts game is still going on and Barty's still telling his story.
Definitely hit Open in the back with a dart.
Yeah, he's like trying to pull it out, but he's having a hard time like reaching back there to get it out.
It's in my lumbar. It's in my lumbar region.
Mortimer is just straight up headache, rubbing his temples, listening to this story.
Yeah, and at this point, my parrot on my shoulder is repeating the end of my sentences for emphasis. So he says, "We were right there. Yes, right there." And I say, "Yes, Mr. Tinker, you tell him."
Took his leg, they did. Took his leg.
Took his leg.
So Ogun stops with the dart in his hand as you enter Tess, and he says, "What's that look on your face? What's that mean?"
I have this tiniest, and Ogun does not see it very often, a smile. And I just say,
and he darts to your side. Not puts a dart in your side, but like rushes to your side. Bad choice of words.
I just say, we've got something.
And his eyes widen. You sure?
Daddy.
I knew you could do it. I knew she could do it. We should tell Lucian. Is it something you could tell Lucian?
Oh, yes. I believe so.
All right. You should go now. He's still in there.
I
hasn't left.
kind of like take Ogun by the elbow and I like squeeze his elbow and I'm like, I'll be right back.
All right. And you all heard that exchange, at least. If you want to say or do anything about it is up to you, but you did hear it as she heads towards the door to Lucian's hall.
Oh, God.
Mortimer doesn't give a shit.
That's about right. That's about what I would expect.
He's just wishing that he was in his lab and not listening to these buffoons.
Barney's pretty wrapped up
still
in his
stuck
story.
here. You guys have a mission briefing that's supposed to be happening like within half an hour, 45 minutes. So You guys are stuck waiting around. Okay. Well, Tess, you are going to go into Lucian's office in that case, because you would see that he's not in the receiving hall.
And is his door shut? Okay.
Yes.
I want to knock.
Okay. This time there's a slightly longer pause, as he is not expecting anybody to show up right now, and he says, "Come in."
I go in very timidly.
And he is still standing, and he's paging through a book, kind of standing next to his desk, and he shuts the cover, not looking at you. Yes.
My lord, I have some news that I think you will think is very important before we go out on our next mission. And I wanted to let you know as soon as I could.
Well,
it is quite personal, my lord. I hope perhaps you should sit down.
he just slowly turns his head to look at you. Like, bitch, who the hell do you think I am? Yeah, sit down, hear news. Yeah, you feel yourself shrink from his gaze as he's just staring at you.
It's your daughter, my lord. She has taken a lover.
My daughter.
Yes. It is the man, Theris. They are planning to run away together, my lord. I heard them talking.
Tessara,
Yes.
I don't think it has escaped my notice how you feel about her.
Friendly competition only, my lord. We've grown up together. We have trained together for years.
What certainty do I have that what you tell me is not simply meant to get her out of your way?
My lord, you are a very intelligent man. I know this. Surely you have seen her. Surely.
No flattery, be honest.
You certainly have your own suspicions, my lord. You have seen her. She is 19 years old. Otherwise, she is alone. Very few can withstand that burden. The man Theris is very handsome. They disappeared together often, I would say 5 minutes from now.
Very
or
well,
so.
that is enough. And he slowly turns, folding his arms as he leans against the desk. This is regrettable. And I know what course of action must be taken. And it is fitting that you shall be involved.
Yes, my lord, I think so too.
If what you say is true, then Theris will accompany you all on tonight's mission. But he must not return.
I see. Yes,
You understand what I say?
I do, my lord. Perfectly.
It must be staged so that she has no idea it came from one of you.
Of course.
It
We
is
can manage
perhaps better if she does not even realize it until she is returned. Perhaps breaking the news to her after will allay some of her suspicions. If you speak truly, and you do this, it will serve you quite well in the Brotherhood. Do you understand?
Perfectly, my lord. Thank you.
That is all.
I leave very quickly.
And about. Bye!
Oh, God, I hate myself. Oh, God.
Carrie is upset for Liz's character out of game. Whoops.
Look what you made me do.
Look what you made me do.
I'm a
Taylor Swift music video.
bad guy.
All right. Meanwhile, Kallista, having returned to your room, Theris does slip inside several minutes later to join you.
You're certain you were not followed?
Of course I wasn't followed. Were you followed?
No.
Nothing gets past those eyes of yours. Least of all me. I'm snagged by them every time you walk in. I have something for you.
What?
I do. But you'll need to keep it hidden.
Of course.
It's foolish and you'll hate it because it's sentimental.
Why give it to me?
I don't know. I suppose to see if you'll keep something you think is foolish just on account of me.
Now I'm intrigued.
And he smiles and he reaches in to his armor and he pulls out a very small, little, graceful looking box. It looks like it might be like porcelain on the outside or something like that. And around the outside, it has sort of a lovely blue pattern worked around it. And he says, for whatever reason, I thought of you. I certainly don't look at you as breakable, so don't look at it that way. And he sets it down and he opens the top of it and it actually begins to play music from within. And you would see that there is a little figure inside who kind of goes around in a circle, and they have indeed a bow and arrow that they like pull up and go like this, and then a little arrow comes off and goes on the other side, and then it loops underneath as the music goes across, and then fires through the air over and over again as the music.
I pick it up and I look at it. I kind of turn it over in my hand. And I look at him.
Open clockworks.
I look at him and I say, "You are right. It is foolish." And I
he
smile.
gives a grin.
And I set it back on the end table. And then I grab him around the back of the neck and I kiss him.
And he kisses you and drags you into the bed, where the two of you share a moment together before this mission briefing. This is fine. Everything's fine.
Sorry about it.
Nothing's wrong.
All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch over here. So eventually, you'll be coming back out into the room there. Tess, are you saying anything to anyone about what just occurred? I thought you might.
Yes.
So
Okay.
you
Now
come
has 4 darts in his
outside.
back.
I come back out to the dartboards and I say, enough darts. We need to get ready for the mission. How about we all go out into the courtyard quickly? And I give everybody a very suggestive
All right.
look.
He doesn't seem to pick up on it, but he's willing to do what you ask, so he'll go.
You mean into the sun? How would you do such a thing?
I think there is enough shade out there for you, Mortimer. We can protect you from the sun.
Let me get my parasol.
Ah, ye landlubbers.
Oh God. And as soon as we go out, I want to tell them everything.
Okay. So Tess will tell you all what it is that she saw and what Lucian said needs to be done on the mission.
I mean, I get it. It seems like a bit of a steep price to pay.
He needs to
Poor
disappear.
Well,
I guess
good job.
in telling them everything, I don't tell them that Lucian promised me advancement for
Yes.
doing this.
Okay. Wise.
It's something we need to do. We've done worse.
I care not. It's a chance for me to field test some of my new inventions.
All right, better go grab me traveling peg.
I heard traveling pants at first, and I got
Like
confused.
that. Oh my
All
god.
right. So with that, go
Tess
ahead.
looks one last time at the arrow that Kallista left in the dartboard in the target and just smiles.
All right. So within the hour, when the time comes, you will all gather in the receiving hall to get your mission briefing. And Lucian will be there.
As
He
we're leaving the
overlooks you.
courtyard-
Oh, go ahead.
As we're leaving the courtyard, Lou will kind of hang back and only enter the building again the same time as Tess and just kind of say, "Hey, remind me never to get on your bad side."
Can do.
And Ogan will say to you, Tess, he'll say, I'm not on this mission, but I know you've got this. You're doing the right thing for all of us.
I know. Thank you.
Right, right. And he looks at you awkwardly for a moment, like he was trying to think of something else to add on to that, but then fails. So then he will just turn around.
One more time I take his arm and I just say, when I get back, perhaps we can have a talk about us.
Us? Yeah.
And I smile and I say us.
Us.
Can I make a perception check to see if I notice that?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Perception is spelled with a P. 16.
16? You catch a little bit of it. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
And then I just put my hand on his chest and I kind of like give it like a gentle little pat and I say, when I get back.
Right. Good luck.
And I turn.
Okay.
As I go into the room for the mission briefing, I typically work alone, so am I surprised to see the others there?
Yes.
Okay. I don't let it show, but as soon as Lucian walks in, I'm going to pull him aside for just a second.
Okay. And he will do so. Yes.
I work alone.
Not tonight. Do you have a problem with that?
I have concern with not being able to trust the people who are supposed to be watching my back. That is why I do not trust anyone to watch my back.
They will pay if your back does not come safely home.
That is hardly a comfort to me, but as you wish.
And he says nothing more, walking up to the head of the room where he has a chair. He doesn't sit, he just stands in front of it all as you gather there. And he says, a Chandathan noble, Gavin Whittingham, has intercepted evidence of our hand in a certain smuggling operation. Certain documents have fallen into his possession in a recent inheritance from his deceased father, who was in my pocket. But Gavin, from all accounts of my spies, would be much less open to such an arrangement. Should he find out what is in those books and turn them over to the authorities, it could compromise the cover of some of our agents.
So we're talking a smash and grab job.
No, a bit more of a subtle hand.
I could
Your
do
job is to sneak in to the Whittingham Manor, locate the logbook in question, and Mortimer, I'm
Yes.
sure you have some clever reagents that can be used to destroy it beyond repair.
I have a few tricks up my sleeve, that's for sure.
I thought so. It is doubtful that Gavin himself has laid eyes on the document yet, but his secretary, whose name is Arabella Woodleaf, may have. You're to find out what she knows, and then she's to either be intimidated into silence or taken out. If you do so, I encourage you to make it look like an accident. According to our reconnaissance, the Whittingham Manor keeps a force of 8 guards on the grounds. Whittingham himself is out of the manor at the moment, although his wife and small daughter may be present. We're to take care of this business without unnecessarily raising alarms or suspicions.
My specialty.
Not mine.
Any questions?
If we do encounter the wife and the girl, what are we permitted to do, my lord?
What you must.
And I just nod.
It would be difficult to make it look like an accident if there are multiple casualties.
I agree.
Who is giving orders on this mission? Missions with multiple heads tend to fail.
Kallista, that's why I've put you on this mission. Is that amenable?
Very well. If it is amenable to the others in my fine party,
I did not ask them.
but I must have their acquiescence in order to, shall we say, be effective.
Why
He
wouldn't
looks
we
at
be?
you all.
Why wouldn't we be amenable to it, Kallista? You are so very capable.
I smirk at her.
Yes, of course. What could possibly go wrong?
If you
And
listen to
like
me,
a Cheshire cat smile.
Jesus Christ, that is nightmare fuel, dude.
So creepy.
No, thank you. No,
Love it,
no,
love
no.
it.
As long as I get me 3 squares a day and a pint of rum for the road, then aye, Captain.
so Theris is in the room.
No.
Oh, he's
He is
not. Okay.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. He is in the room. Yes, he's here. Yeah, he's in the room. He's just got his arms folded. He's not looking at you, Kallista. He's just listening to all this.
This is a large party for an infiltration, but tonight? We go tonight?
Tonight, he nods.
As soon as it is dark, meet in front of the
Okay.
building. Well, that was an order to
Yeah,
everyone.
sorry, I got you.
Aye, kid.
That sounds
That's an
good.
All right, Theros just nods and he says, well, I'll see you all then.
Get some rest.
And he heads out of there.
See you at nightfall then.
I'm
And
going
we'll go
to
back out to the common room and pull out a spell book, open it on the table, and start meticulously going over and checking his pouches to make sure he has everything he needs.
I'm also
Cool.
going to go up to the common room and
Kallista, before you leave, Lucian speaks your name.
Yes, sir.
Shoot straight. Eyes on the target, Kallista.
Yes, my lord. And I'll take an empty table at the common room and just start. I'm assuming we have some sort of plans for the manor.
Yes, you can
Okay,
know
so
the basic layout of that. Yep.
I'm sitting down with those and just kind of drawing up some
Okay.
plans of.
And this is where we are going to take our intermission.
Shit's about to go down.
So we will be back in, what are we doing, 10 minutes?
10 minutes sounds fine.
So we'll be back in
thank you,
about
10.
10 minutes, everybody, to continue and see where this is going to go in Kallista's life.
Jesus Christ, no.
All
Now
right,
I
thank
feel
you
so
guys.
like, complicit.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. And we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
And we're
Yeah. We return. Hi guys.
Good news,
Hello.
everyone.
Good
Good news and bad news. Good news, we're back. Bad news, this is gonna be a fun time.
down.
So we're gonna
Yeah.
do a real brief, quick recap here of what happened in the first half if you joined us late. So we are playing out Kallista's backstory adventure, and we have met many of the colorful characters of the Steel Brotherhood, whose beautiful art by Barb you can see pictured here. The old pirate Barney, and then Mortimer, the incredibly creepy Alchemist, and Tess, who is her rival in many respects, and little Slick Lou, the kobold wizard.
Slick Lou.
And throughout the first half, it has a sort of ploy has been played out, I suppose, by Tess to try to bring Kallista down. And she spied on her and learned she has a secret lover, Theris, and reported that to her father. And father has ordered that he be killed on the mission that they're about to go on right now. So that's where we're taking up, about to head off on the mission here. So Kallista, since you are in charge of the mission, if there's anything that you would have relayed to them before you left headquarters that you want to talk about right now, we can do that quickly.
Yep.
Okay.
So as we meet outside, outside the guild hall before we take off, I'm just going to look at them all. Like, I'm going to look each of them in the eye individually and just say, look, I'm aware that there's no love lost between me and most of you, all of you. However, working as a group means that you follow orders, or some of us die, or all of us die, or we are exposed. So, you can go back to hating me when we return, but for now, let's set the egos aside and make for a successful mission, yeah?
Hey, just don't get me killed.
Stay sharp,
Yes, yes,
everybody.
yes. If you excuse me, I have one more thing to do, and I'm gonna look at my lump, and I'm gonna like flick it. Wake up! And it's I'm gonna like flick back a little bit of my collar, and all of a sudden, like two kind of like Gary from SpongeBob are gonna pop out,
Ew.
and then hit this like grotesque mouth. It's just gonna go.
Oh,
Terrible! And then I'm just gonna be like, stop! We have work to do. And then he's gonna like cover up his mouth and just.
There's eyes widen a little bit at this sight, but
Oh, he's newly attached. Don't worry about it. It'll go away.
You can keep it quiet, yeah? While we are inside?
Yes. Well, one more thing. He like you hear this. He just pulls the gag tighter and he quiets down.
Let's go.
You might want to have a doctor see to that. That's
Like
kind of
that.
gross.
Oh no!
I think
I
he was
attached
the
it.
doctor.
It's
I
my
think he-
newest discovery: how to bind living creatures to other living creatures.
All right, I'm gonna stand as far away from him as I possibly can.
So these
Well,
two
you can
little
begin
eyes
with
are
his
like
own experiment.
peeking out of my collar.
And
I'll
I-
lean over to Theris and just say, if he tries to attach me, kill me first, please.
I wouldn't
mean-
treat it. Wouldn't be useful.
You are the smallest of us, friend.
And I thought
Now
I'd
we can
seen
move along.
everything. Thought I'd seen everything.
All right, with that, you guys will head out into the dark streets. How would you like to approach the manor? It is not in the center of town. It's actually more of a private manor, a private estate. So they have their own grounds that are set off, like they have a fence around the area, but it's nothing that is beyond your skill to scale with the grappling hooks and ropes that are supplied to you by the Brotherhood. So it will be easy enough to get over and access to the building. And you should not have passerbys on the street able to see you beyond the brick wall that surrounds the manor once you get there. There are, however, the guards to be aware of. From what you've heard, there are 8 of them somewhere on the grounds of the building.
I'd like to find us a spot where we can take cover maybe like 100 yards from the, I'm assuming it's surrounded by a wall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
About 100, 200 yards from the wall.
Okay.
And just kind of group up there. And then I'm going to turn to everyone and say, all right, 2 scouts, one go either way around the perimeter. Scout out, see what you can see about the guards and report back. Who feels
Nobody's gonna see me.
guilty?
Theris says, I can do that.
Theris, Lou, go.
And Theris will nod at Lou in one direction, and then he's going to break in the other direction.
You want like a stealth check, perception check?
Yeah, do both of those rolls for me, please.
All right. Stealth is going to be a 20, not natural.
All right. You both do a good job of keeping to the shadows, which the wall itself casts some good shadows that you can use, and there's trees and things dotting the area out here. So both of you do fine at that. And then perception checks.
Natural 20 for a total of
Ooh.
23.
Very nice, very nice. Okay. Are you going around like the front or back? Which direction do you want to have, Lou?
I'll go around the back, and I specifically want to keep an eye out not only for guards, but potential windows or balconies on the second story.
Okay. So looking there, you would immediately see that there is a balcony on the back of the building attached to the second floor that has one access door. It's a sealed wooden door, so you can't see through it, but there are some windows that look like they might look into a bedroom of sorts up there. And you would be able to notice that there is one guard who is stationed at the back door of the actual place down on the first floor. And it's just one small back door. Doesn't look like a main place, maybe something off from the kitchen or something like that. Servant kind of entrance. But there's one guard who is walking back and forth close to that. He's the only one that you would notice on your end of the building.
I will circle back and share my findings with the team.
All right, and Theris would come back as well, and he'd say, only one in the front yard at the moment.
We've only got one in the back. And a balcony in the back, in case we want to just jump right up to the second story.
I wonder if the other guards are off duty at the moment, or if they're all inside for some reason.
I would assume that they are inside until we find otherwise, so we are not caught unawares. So when I was studying the plans, I'm going to assume that I came up with like maybe 2 or 3 rooms where it's most likely where they might be keeping the ledger, like study or library or office type rooms, and I'm going to point those out.
So what you found in the plans that you looked at were that on the second floor, there is a library, a rather large library, and there's next to that, near to that, some kind of office, and that is also next to the master bedroom is there as well, all up on the top floor. Those are the things that maybe strike you the most. There is a storage room up in the corner near the front of the house on the left-hand side as well, that perhaps it got relegated to. But nothing really on the first floor that strikes you as a likely location.
And what about for the bookkeeper to be? She's on the premises, right?
Yes, in theory, she should be here. So likely in one of those rooms as well, unless she has retired to sleep, in which case she would probably stay in the servants' quarters, which according to your map is on the first floor in the back of the house near to that door that Lou noticed.
Okay. So I point out the 3 likely. So on the second floor, there's a library and an office near to each other. They're also near to the master bedroom. So whoever goes up there, be very quiet that you do not wake up the wife and the child if they are here. There's also a storage room. Perhaps it could have been placed with junk in a storage room. We do not know how much they know yet. I am going to search for the bookkeeper and find out what she knows and take care of her if need be. The rest of you, split up and search for the ledger and take care of it. If you find it, you know what to do. So, I would advise splitting into groups of 2 so you move more quietly. 2 or 1 so you move more quietly.
If silence is the name of the game, then I think I have one more thing that I must do. And he is going to pull out this, like, fizzy, nasty bottle of liquid that he's going to pop it open. He's going to chug it and just go... And then all of a sudden, you start to notice that he actually has some loose skin. And then it's all just going to, like, fill out. And he's going to turn into, like, this beast man that's, like, seems to be way quicker, and
His body's just like stretching into this air.
to the point where his clothes almost rip.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Told you it was the Halloween episode.
I never
I'm
get
just
to
gonna look
use
at
this.
Kallista being the only other one that is, you know, remotely not human, and just kind of be like, "Are they all that gross?"
I try not to study them too much. But no, I don't think so.
And then he's going to dart both his eyes and his familiar's eyes at Kallista and say, "Let's get a move on."
Right.
I look over at Theris and I say, Theris, would you like to come with me? We can look upstairs. We can start in the library and go from there, yeah?
And he glances at Kallista as if to see if that fits in her plan.
Do I sense anything weird about
Would you sense motive? Because if so, you could sense motive.
Yeah, I mean it seems, I don't know, I just feel like because he's who he is and she's who she is, I would
You
just
said
Okay.
groups of 2.
Make a bluff test.
22.
9.
Something weird, and you have no idea why.
I have never been with him on a mission before. I want to see what he can do.
I think perhaps Theris, you go with Mortimer. Barney.
He kind of side eyes
that,
horrible,
like-
disgusting Mortimer beast over here.
So his eyes start like flicking to everybody, and the eyes look individually at
Jesus.
other people.
I say, Theris, how about this?
And
Who
what
would you prefer to
rumor?
go with?
I don't care. I just want to get the mission done. Where should we look?
Upstairs sounds promising.
I'm going to
Kallista, you said you are taking the which room?
I'm going to start with the servants' quarters and see if I can find the bookkeeper. If you see her in one of the other rooms, do not approach.
All right, then, Mortimer, why don't we take something upstairs?
Sounds delightful.
The rest of,
Can he?
all of the rest of you search upstairs.
All right.
And
So Barney and Tess then together, or where's Luke?
I guess.
The glue? There's not
guess.
an even number of people.
I'm kind of shaking my head. I say, well, I want to either go with Kallista or Barney. I don't want to be by myself.
I work alone.
Sorry.
All right, Tess, you'll be by me side.
Gods. Okay. Barney, but remember, this is a stealth mission, so we have to be very, very quiet. If there is ever a time not to tell a story, it would be now.
I can be extra quiet when I want to be, and I start walking towards her, and you hear this like clink,
Dunk,
clink.
dunk.
I put my hand on Barney's shoulder and I say, she has an excellent point.
I pull out like a bit of fabric from my pack, and I fasten it to the bottom of my
Have
stump.
a silencer for your stuff. So kind of put it on pool cue.
Extra quiet is the name
Rubber
of the
stop.
game.
The felt furniture slider.
Yes, good.
Kallista, if we find it, what should we do?
Destroy it and get out.
So we are all just assuming that somebody else found it, if we don't?
If you find it,
Send messages.
if you find it, find the others or send a message and get out.
All right.
But do not just
And,
leave without finding the others.
Theros would look at Barney and he would say, since you like stories so much, why don't you two take the library? And then Mortimer and I will look in the office.
I do love a good book.
Kallista, is that okay with you? You are the one giving the orders here. Unless you two are working together for some reason.
That works. I do not care who searches where.
He has many good ideas, it seems.
And he sort of side-eyes you at that moment. And he says,
Wait, didn't Barney say that?
oh, sorry. Yeah, Theros said that. To be in the library in the first place.
Oh,
That's all right.
All right, we should sneak around back then. We've got one guy to take
Like,
care
give some
of.
hand
so we can go
signals.
upstairs.
All right. So, Lou, are you entering on your own then?
I guess.
together.
Odd man out.
You
Odd
could-
kobold out.
Why don't we do a group of 3?
Yeah.
we could have him join a
That
group.
works. Luke
It
and
is
Joe
too
work.
many. It is too conspicuous.
I have the easiest way into the upstairs. So
He's
whoever wants to come with
He
me.
could scout ahead and get up there. Yeah, we don't know. Okay, so you guys get around back, and you see what I explained to Lou is back there. That guard is still there.
Do you want me to lure him away from the door a bit?
There's that
Distraction.
would make things quite easier. Yeah.
Is there like any shrubbery, trees,
Oh, yeah.
foliage, or something?
Lots of very carefully manicured, perfect shrubs back here. Yep.
Any like topiaries and animal shapes?
No.
Okay.
They're just regular shapes.
Opportunity missed.
So I
Sorry.
will hold up the gold chain, and one of the loops in the chain is actually copper wire, and I'll just whisper towards it. Hey, you, come over here, towards the spirally tree.
Towards the spirally tree.
Oh, good.
Hey, yo. Towards the spirally tree.
Okay, so he'll just hear this.
Yep.
All right. And, well, he rolled a 2 on his wisdom check, so he clearly thinks that's a great idea. He at least has to look and see what's going on. So he puts a hand on his weapon that's at his belt and starts to cautiously head towards the spirally tree.
And as he gets close, I would like to cast Bungle on him as soon as he moves in.
Yeah,
You
you do.
can't make a
Yes.
spellcaster without bungle, can you,
Classic
bro?
Brad.
It's
Best first level spell that this game has to offer.
We know. All right. Well, he got a 20 will save. He rolled a 19.
Damn.
Haha. No bungle here. But he is
Bungle.
away from the door substantially over by the tree at the moment.
Can I try to sneak up behind him and like
Oh yeah.
put a chokehold to knock him out?
You could totally try to do
Bleeper.
that. So make a stealth check to do so.
– 19.
Right. Well, he may have rolled a 19 on his will save, but he rolled a 12 on this perception check, so he does not notice as the tiefling creeps up right behind him. And you can make a CMB check against him. It will be versus his flat-footed because he is not prepared for this moment.
What a shock.
Combat maneuver.
Natural 20.
Oh, good night.
Beck, you don't even have to roll any damage or anything. Just in one smooth move, you manage to choke him and get him unconscious, and he just slumps right down in your arms. One guard down.
I
And
put him
Lick
behind
Lou-
the tree, and do we have rope?
I have lots of rope.
I motion for Lou to tie him to the tree.
And very quickly, he will hog tie him, hands behind his back to his ankles, sort of like in a weird face down position, with the rope slung up over the branch of a tree, like he cannot get out.
Nice. An unnecessary amount of rope.
We definitely need to release him before we leave because that's suspicious.
Lick Lou
And
is
also
so
a gag
overzealous
in
right
his
now.
mouth should he wake up.
Okay. Well, now that the overkill's done, and he's definitely not going to come back to haunt us.
I kind of watched this whole spectacle. Are we kind of together for a second?
For now, you guys are still together, yes.
I would have just killed him. It would have been easier and wasted less rope.
Yeah, but we can't leave a mess behind. Well, why aren't you listening to the boss?
Mortimer pulls out a vial and he's like, I can make him go away permanently.
I think we all can do that.
Permanently.
There
Sarah
won't
says,
be a
yes,
trace."
yes, we're all quite killed at skilling. That's
Oh no,
Very
no,
killed at killing.
You misunderstand.
very killed at skilling.
You misunderstand. There won't be a body.
It's...
Perhaps on our way out.
That might be worth saving for later.
Stop bickering all in.
Have to go.
Yes.
So Lou will sneak towards the house and stop just shy of the balcony
Okay.
and take a coil of rope off his shoulder and cast Handy Grapnel on it.
What?
Andy Grapnel.
Is it grapple or grapnel?
Grapnel.
According
It
to
is?
the spellbook.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And the rope all of a sudden turns
Yep.
into a crossbow bolt.
Wow.
And Lou will take his heavy crossbow off his shoulder, aim it at the overhang of the roof, and just shoot it there. And as soon as the bolt sticks into that overhang, it turns back into a rope and just drops right into his hand. He tugs on it, and it takes him straight up and drops him right on the balcony.
Woohoo! All right, you have made it up to the balcony.
All
one.
right.
You guys
bad
coming
shit
or what?
right
And he'll
there.
toss the rope back down.
I kind of
And
watched that
How
whole
does he
thing.
do
I'm like,
that?
I was
Like
impressed.
Mary
Hurry up, it
Poppins.
doesn't take long.
Wow. I scramble up the rope.
Okay. Does
All
it
you have to do is
automatically
tug on it, and it
pull?
will-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulls you right up.
Wow.
All right. Well, Theros is gonna take it up too.
Hold
He's
on,
on the
Mortimer.
second floor.
Story man this group had ever seen.
All right, everybody's going to the second story. You can
I'm-
take the elevator.
I think everyone is except me.
Yep.
And I go in to grab it, and I'm like the last one, just like, okay, here we go. Ah!
Shh. Pardon me. Shh. To be very quiet. We talked about this.
And I will creep up to the back door and listen to make sure that there's no one right on the other side of it.
Make a perception check for me, please.
24.
You can hear snoring sounds actually coming from where you know the servants' quarters is pretty close to that back door down here, and there's a couple of like loud snores coming from there.
All right. I will. Is the back door locked?
Yes.
Are there windows on the first floor?
There are some windows that go into the dining room.
Any that are not locked?
Let me find out if they forgot to lock any of them. There is one that is slightly ajar. They were getting a nice fresh breeze in for dinner, and someone forgot to close it all the way and latch it.
Go ahead and enter that way.
All right, make a stealth check as you enter, please.
29.
Like a freaking cat crawling inside there. No one would ever know as Kallista lands in the shadows of the dining room. There's a large table that fills this room with seats for probably at least 12 people. It's quite extravagant. There's a lot of fancy dishes and things arrayed about here. And there is a double door that you know heads out into the foyer. There is a side door as well that you know heads into a privy off from the dining room.
Which way to the servants' quarters?
You would have to go out to the foyer and then hang left.
I will go that way.
Okay. Meanwhile, upstairs, all of you are on the balcony. There is, as I said, a couple of windows that look into the master bedroom that this balcony is off from, and the door is solid wood and closed.
Can I look inside the windows stealthily to see if there's anyone immediately
Sure
inside?
can. Make your stealth check and a perception check, please.
Stealth is going to be 22.
Very nice.
Perception is 9.
Okay. Do you have dark vision?
I do.
Okay, you at least can see inside, but because you're so short, combined with the fact that there's a massive bed that takes up a lot of the view, you can't make out very much inside. You don't see any movement, but that doesn't mean anything necessarily.
Barney, give me a boost.
All right, I'm coming.
All right, you can make a strength check to lift him up.
Okay.
He's very small.
He's very small. It's not hard. Don't
Don't
crit
get in
bad.
that one.
That is a 23.
Oh, like it's nothing, because he weighs like nothing. Like a bowling ball.
Like
All
a
right, you
lunch.
lift him up, and with the new angle looking down, you can see that there is, in fact, a woman asleep in the bed. And you can see her long blonde hair kind of curled around, that she's in a nightgown, but the blankets are pulled up. She looks fast asleep.
All right, we've got one person inside. Looks like they're asleep. So if we're very quiet, we should be able to sneak in.
Is it one of the guards?
My guess is that it's the lady of the house. It's a pretty fancy bed.
Okay.
And Theris would say that was the master bedroom. It would track. And he looks off to the side of the balcony, and there are windows off from the office, which is off to the left. And you know the library is around the corner. And he would look back at Mortimer uncertainly in his strange form, and he would say, I think I could shimmy around to the window, but I don't know if you can do the same.
Should be fine.
Okay.
Don't
So
break your leg.
Theris, with a 25 stealth check, is going to slowly and cautiously put a foot out on the brick that juts out from the building, just the tiniest little ledge, to try to move over in the direction of the window there. So this is a acrobatics check for him, which is a 25. So very nimbly, like it's nothing, he sort of dances across the ledge over to where the window is.
As
and
he goes,
glances
I'll
inside.
cast open close on the window.
Oh, very nice.
Get open for him.
Okay, well, he got a 22 reflex save, so he doesn't get hit in the face with the window. He moves back from it and then glances inside with a 20-something perception check also, and he looks back and signals that it's clear, and then he just starts to climb in the window.
All right. Mortimer's gonna try and follow.
Okay, you can do either acrobatics or climb, unless you have something else up your sleeve to get across there. This is a very narrow ledge.
Okay. So acrobatics, you said?
Yep.
All right. That's good. That's a 23.
Oh, yeah, very easily. So in your creepy, monstrous form, you can leap across there. Very unsettling to watch.
It's kind of like walking like this too. Like.
Yeah, it's not fun to see. And you will follow him, and you will both get into the office. So the rest of you are left on the balcony. What are you all doing?
I look uncomfortably over at Barney, and I say, no offense, friend, but could you do that? What they just did? And I kind of nod to his peg.
Well, I can sure as shit try.
Jesus, no!
Like,
It's gonna break the other leg.
I kind of look very questioningly at him, and I'm like,
Chad says toss him!
you're your own man.
Tosses the pirate.
Best of luck.
Don't toss a pirate, that's right.
Luck to you, friend. Go
I
ahead.
actually would like to attempt this because I am not afraid of acrobatics.
All right. Okay, so if you guys are heading to the library, you would have to shimmy past where they went and then go around the corner of the building down a little ways. So it's a further distance to go to get to the library windows.
First,
Quite the
we'll go
shimmy.
like
So
this
you're
side,
and
with
then-
this
Or
balcony
you
in the
could
wall.
go through the office and then, but you know that
I-
the only door out of the office on the plans goes right back into the bedroom, and there is a door right here to the bedroom.
I put my hand on Barney's shoulder. I say, let me first say, I'm sure you could have done it. But there is a door right here, and you have your nice quiet peg on. And I think perhaps It is best that we just take the door.
I will cast open close on this bedroom door.
On the bedroom door? So
Yes.
the one that leads out into the balcony here?
Yes.
Okay. So the door slowly creaks open.
I to myself, thank you,
It
Lou.
was not locked.
And I will creep in.
Okay. I'll keep your stealth check so you don't have to reroll.
Okay, so yeah, with my 23 stealth, I would like to go just straight across the room and out the door that we know doesn't go to the office.
Okay. The lady does not stir in the bed at all as you creep by. It's a very fancy bedroom, very posh furnishings and things like that.
Lush carpet.
Yes. Make a perception check as you are approaching the door.
21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
You hear some voices right outside the double doors that you were just heading to open, like directly outside. And you would hear two people talking, and one of them would be saying, "Oh, Rick, did you check if she locked that balcony door? She's always leaving it open." And then Rick must speak up, and he says, "I'm sure it's fine. We're not gonna wake her up. Just leave it. It's all right. I haven't heard anything. It'll be a quiet night."
And I will slowly lift up the gold chain and whisper back to Tess and Barney,
There are 2 guards right outside the bedroom door.
All right, we're gonna jump downstairs to Kallista for a moment here. So Kallista was in the dining room.
I'm gonna creep over to the foyer door and listen if there's anyone out there.
All right, make a perception check.
17.
You can hear the same exchange just farther away because it's it's up the top of those stairs in the foyer. So it sounds like the one person might be on the stairs and one person is upstairs and they're talking to each other. Their voices are lower, but you can still make out that they're talking to each other and kind of ascertain where they're at.
Is the dining room door completely closed?
Yes.
Is there a door?
Yes, there is a double door leading out of the dining room into the foyer.
Is there light coming into the door at all? Is it dark in the...
These doors are actually paneled with glass windows that have some designs on them. So you can see that there's light filtering from the foyer, even though the dining room is dark coming through there. You would have to like get right up to it and kind of look through little holes in the coloring to look through directly. But you can.
Are there... The only other exit from the dining room was into the...
Privy.
Privy.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to wait and see where if the voices move, where they go.
Okay. Meanwhile, upstairs, Ferris and Mortimer have made their way into the office. So it is dark. There's no light. Mortimer, are you able to see in the dark?
I am with my 2 little eyes.
Oh no!
Oh, gross. Why?
does your goiter have a name?
Does the goiter have a name?
It's not
Yeah.
pitch dark because there's enough like moonlight filtering in through the open window now that it would count as low light vision. So you can
Okay.
kind of make out the shapes of a big desk, that there's some cabinets and things around, some small tables, big comfy chair at the desk, big grandfather clock.
Leave.
We'll never know because Leith isn't here to check. Peppers, clocks, and things in everywhere.
So is that so? There's like big windows and stuff in this room, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have a thing where I can use a candle rod, I believe it's called. It's basically an alchemical thing where I can make like a magical candle.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna strike one of those, actually with my 2 prosthetics and an abrasive material on his thumb, just.
Nice.
And he'll
Alright.
light that up, and he's gonna search around for the logbook.
And Theris will also start searching around, so you can both make perception checks to search.
He's
You
actually
have-
going to give his second one to
You have
Theris.
still not made your stealth check, so I will need your stealth check.
All right. Not horrible. That is a 15.
Yeah, that's not bad. All right.
Thank you, Mutagen.
What was your perception check?
I haven't looked at that yet. That is a 14.
A 14. Okay. So what actually distracts you more than looking for the logbook is that you find in the desk, in one of the lower drawers, there is a small, like, strong box of sorts that's locked, and it's very heavy. Like, when you reach in there and try to pick it up a little, it's quite heavy. And Theros is checking all the drawers and stuff very thoroughly because he got like a 28 perception check. So he's doing a thorough job of looking around for the logbook while you have found this box.
Okay, gonna put it in my pack.
Okay, again, very heavy, so it might weigh your bag down quite a bit, but that's
Like
okay.
that heavy?
You have like a backpack?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's gonna weigh your backpack down a little bit.
Well,
It's okay, but
Okay,
just
I'll
something to
I'll
be
take a
aware of.
look at it, see what the apparatus is.
Okay. So it seems to have just a standard lock on it.
Okay.
And
Can I try and
disable
pick
it?
the lock? Disable
Yes,
it?
you can.
All right, so disable device. That's a 13.
A 13 is not enough to pick it, but that does draw Theris' attention, even as he's scowling and kind of stepping in circles in the middle of the room now and saying, "It's not here. What are you looking at?"
It's some sort of lockbox. I can't quite disable it. Are
Let
you
me-
any good?
Let
at this?
me try it. And he'll lean in there and he'll make a disable device check. And he got a 17, which will be enough to pick it open.
Ooh.
And lift it up, and you would immediately, in the little light that you have, see the golden gleam of many gold bars that are stamped with something. So you can actually make. Do you have knowledge nobility by any chance?
It's not one of. It's not one of my things.
Definitely
no.
does not.
No, he does not.
Okay, so.
He doesn't care much for no.
Character, and I'm not in the room.
And then there's a bunch of papers stuffed in the box too.
Well, I'm gonna look at the papers. Like, take the gold out and look at the papers.
Okay. Can you make a general intelligence check for me?
Come on, baby. It's what I'm good at. Not according to this dice roll. 9.
Okay. It's difficult to decipher. It seems to be a series of letters, but the people who are speaking in the letters, and Whittingham, the person whose office this is one of them, but the person that he's corresponding with, they're seeming to speak in euphemistic language that makes it a little difficult to ascertain exactly what it is that they are saying. So you can't quite pick it up reading like by candlelight rapidly, hiding in this room right now. It's not picking it up.
I guess I'm gonna like fold them up and take them.
Okay.
Put the gold bars back. He doesn't give a shit.
Theris is gonna reach in and take one and kind of hold it in his hand and make a sense motive check, I guess, Mortimer.
Could make a whole life with this.
10.
This amount of gold.
One could run off and start. a
One
new
could
life
just
with-
about run away with this amount
You
of
got a
gold.
25? Is that what you said?
No, definitely not.
Oh,
a
just
10.
a five. Oh, I heard you totally wrong. Yeah, you pick up nothing out of that. He just stares at it for a moment and then very begrudgingly puts it back in the box and says, "We can't leave any evidence we were here. They might not notice the papers were missing, but they'll notice if all these gold bars go." Oh.
It seems you're more intelligent than I thought you were.
Thank you. And he closes the box back up. Close it in the drawer. Okay. Heading over to what's going on in the bedroom with Lou, and then Tess and Barney are still out there on the balcony.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I want to get into the house. I don't even think we're into the house yet.
No.
I want to try to. Do I convince Barney to just go in through the door? Barney, are you on board with this? Are you on board with this?
I am on board like I'm on the plank. So yes, is what I'm trying to say.
Is that the, okay? Thank you. I was confused.
I realized as that came out of my mouth, it might be ambiguous.
That's not a good thing. So I go up to the door, and is the door open? Did we decide? Is it?
I opened
Yeah,
it.
this door is open.
I'm already inside the room.
Lou is inside the bedroom, and he is at the doors that lead out to the hallway. That's sort of an upstairs balcony that goes around, and there's a bunch of doors off from it. Yeah.
We know that because of the map we've studied.
You know that because of the map, yeah, which you guys have, so you can look
I go in very, very quietly, and I motion one last time for Barney to be very quiet. And then I go in, and I go to where Lou is, and I put my ear to the door. Try to be very
And
quiet.
You can also make your stealth check.
Oh, God. I'm going to have to
I
kill
knew you
a
hadn't
person.
made one yet. I'm writing them down.
Yeah, you're right.
Can't
You're
sneak
right.
past me.
Oh, I got a 16. 16.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all right.
Oh, God.
Way better than average.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess. Yeah.
And make a perception.
Okay, perception. Here we go. That's only an 11.
Okay, you can't make out much at
Too
this
dark.
point. Yeah. Can't hear much.
And I like look back to where Barney's freaking waiting on the balcony, and I motion for him to come in.
And I like kind of hobble my way in
Very quiet.
as quietly as I possibly can.
Go ahead and make your stealth check.
Come on, Barney. Come on, Barney.
So
Come
Should I
through,
give you a
man.
+1 from your little silencer?
From your tennis
Your
ball.
rubber tennis ball.
even with
Yes.
the bonus, it's a 5.
Oh my god.
Okay, he takes one step inside, and immediately, like, you hear that wooden leg clamp down on the probably like hardwood floors in here or something. And
Oh no.
on the bed, you hear the woman stir, and she would say, "Gavin." And she half turns over sleepily, but then she doesn't say anything else, nor move anymore.
Oh my gosh. I look at Barney. I just mouth the words, "Stay there."
And I'm just like kind of
Barney's
frozen
like-
in place, like
Oh God. So I guess we gotta kill some guards, right? I look at.
I will look at Tess and say, "No,
I got this.
and I will cast Unseen Servant,
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
and I will give the Unseen Servant the order to go out into the main portion of the house, all off that foyer, and just start opening and closing doors in sort of like a random pattern away from where we're investigating.
Okay, so that
In
would be
order to draw
on the
attention.
sort of left-hand side there, where there is the other bedroom and then the storage room. I know you guys had wanted to look at that, but most of the library is the other big one, and that's on
That's
the left-hand
where-
side.
That's where me and
So they
I'm
can- there's
including,
two
like
doors.
downstairs as well. So like
Okay.
the main doors downstairs. And
Oh yeah, they can easily do that. And there's two doors on that side, and on the other side they can be opening. Okay, so the unseen servant that you create, this invisible force,
His name is Willard.
Willard. Willard will head out there, and after a
get him,
moment,
Willard.
everybody in the house can make perception checks.
Oh,
You only need to get a 10 to hear this, as it's causing.
I got a
ruckus.
10 exactly.
I got a
24.
10 exactly as well.
7.
Barney is still frozen. at the bed, so fixated that he totally misses this somehow. But everyone else would begin to hear doors banging, and then shortly after that, guards like being like, "What? Who's there?" And then like footsteps moving in those directions. So lots of chaotic stuff happening. So Kallista, you're downstairs.
Are most of
and
the doors opening and closing downstairs?
Yes, where you are, but your door does not do that. The door's on the left, so that would be 3 and 5 on your map.
So I know how big the foyer is, right? From
Yep.
studying the. And
Yes, you do.
Oh, okay. It's bigger than I thought. Crap.
Yeah, it's the den and music room door.
Okay. And wait, which number am I in? 4?
You're in 8 downstairs.
Oh, right. Okay.
The dining room.
Headed towards 7 is the servants' court?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to cast as a spell-like ability something that Kallista I don't think has ever done in the main campaign.
Yes!
Do it.
Something she forgot as
Yeah,
a result
pretty
of
much.
her trauma.
I'm going to cast darkness
Yes.
over the portion of the room that covers the doors to 8 and to
Okay.
6. So it'll cover like that whole, as much of the room as I can, starting in that corner. It's a 20-foot radius, so 40-foot diameter.
Okay. And you said you're centering it in the which area?
Wait, it's a 20-foot radius, which is a 40-foot diameter. I can cover the whole
Yes.
foyer.
Yes, you could.
Okay, so yeah, I'm casting it in the foyer then.
Okay. So the foyer
So the
will be
lights-
plunged into darkness. The doors are still opening and closing as he's running all around, opening and closing doors. So now there is much chaos happening.
And
Does
I'm
that
going-
affect what upstairs you guys are doing, Tess and Lou and Frozen Barney?
I would
I
like to
motion to
sneak
Barney.
out-
I motion to Barney. I'm like, come on. And I say, like, I don't still talk because this woman's asleep. But I'm like, come on, now. And yeah, I just motion for him to get his butt to the door.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will let you re-roll your stealth check then, Barney.
Don't expect anything great here.
Come on, Barney.
10.
Ah!
Okay.
Average.
Okay, it's fine. She might fail. She's
Middle
asleep.
of the
Let's find
road.
out. Okay. She stirs once again in her sleep and sort of turns in the bed and grabs the pillow and pulls it closer to her. And you would hear her say, "Gavin, I'll talk in the morning." And then she just goes back to sleep.
Slick Lou would like to very slowly open the door and creep out through the foyer towards the library.
Okay, you head in the direction of the library, and you can see that below, from the steps down, it's like pitch dark, and you hear yelling down there as most of the guards probably ran downstairs but are now plunged in darkness, and so you can hear them shouting, lots of chaos, but you have plenty of cover to get over there and enter the library.
And
Tess?
every couple minutes, a door opens and closes again.
God.
Cool. And I'll motion for Tess and Barney to follow.
I
Okay.
do.
You guys can also head into the library.
Weird, it's dark down there. Let's go.
I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah. Go for
As you
broke.
head inside, the three of you make perception checks, please.
I got a 21.
I got a 22.
16.
Nice. All of you would immediately notice some things. So the library is quite large. When you enter it, there are stacks like right off to your right and left, and then there's sort of a long alley that runs in a T shape, like through the library. And all of you would hear someone off to the right around the stacks murmuring to herself as if she's sort of like reading out loud what she's reading. So you can hear the little under her breath reading something.
Oh no. Oh god. Can I make like a sense motive to see if I recognize the gender and or age?
Yes.
Oh my god. No. Sense motive is a 16.
Okay, it is a woman, and she sounds like she is an adult. So it's not the child.
Whew.
But you were told about another person in the house who would be the secretary, whose name was Arabella Woodleaf. So it's certainly possible that this is that person, and it sounds like she is awake.
So I'm gonna take the necklace again and kind of looking through the floor in a rough guesstimation of where Kallista is and just say,
We found this secretary. She's up here in the library with us. What do you want us to do?
I'm sorry, I can't get over it.
All right, Kallista, that's what you got. And lots of chaos happening outside of the room in the darkness.
I am on my way.
Okay.
Because it's a 40-foot diameter, it goes up 40 feet too.
Oh, okay. So darkness.
I mean, it's
everywhere.
a
In the hallway,
sphere,
yeah.
so I have dark vision, so I'm just going to exit the dining room.
You see like the comedy of errors that is the guards out
I'm
here
just
like
gonna
bumping
carefully
into each
thread
other in the
my-
darkness, trying to like find a torch or a candle or something, and it's just failure left and right down here. They keep rolling terribly. So
I am going to thread my way around them and just quietly go up the stairs and head for the library.
yeah, none of them hit your 29 stealth with their perception, so you sneak right through them and get upstairs. And you will join them in that interior of the library here where they are all gathered.
And I motion to Kallista, like I point at where we think she is.
And I give them signals to search the other parts of the library for the ledger, and I will head toward who we presume is the secretary is. I'm going to try to sneak up on her.
All right. So the rest of you make perception checks for me, please.
21.
4.
Party.
You find a great like book about tales of the sea, and you get distracted reading.
oh, I
this
know
book.
this one.
It's your favorite book. You just haven't had a copy in so long.
I got a 12.
Okay. What was that highest one?
21.
Yes, 21. All right. And Kallista, make you're already stealthing, so you far pass her. She got a 3 perception, so as she noticed none of you enter. So you will come around the corner, and what you see in front of a warm fire here is that there is a young woman. She appears to be a half-elf with very long, straight black hair that is tied back with a big ribbon. And she has quite green eyes behind big round spectacles. And she has a triangular but otherwise quite plain face. And she is buried in reading this humongous book right now. And very engrossed in whatever she's reading, to the point that she doesn't seem to have noticed anything else happening in the world around her.
Can I tell what the book looks like? Is it a pleasure reading book? Is she
Did you
reading
make a
the ledger?
perception? What was it?
Perception?
Yeah.
I didn't make one before.
Okay, go ahead and make one for that.
It's a natural 20.
Oh, yes. You recognize a logbook when you see a logbook. And she is in the process of reading it and looks very intrigued by whatever she is finding there. And you, in fact, even notice in the corner of an open page a name of a member of your organization right there in the corner.
I'm going to draw one of my daggers from my thigh sheath, and I'm going to creep up behind her, and I'm going to wrap my arm around her and put the dagger up to her throat.
Yeah.
Okay. She is completely unaware that you are here, so it's very easy for you to do that. She doesn't seem to have a lot in the way of defenses against it, so she tightens, stiffening at your touch, and you hear her gasp, and she says, please don't hurt me.
Does she
With my
drop the-
21 perception, do I see this?
Yes,
And
you
way
hear
over? Okay,
that
great.
happening.
Great, perfect, thank you.
Does she drop the book?
Do all
She
of us
does
do
drop
that?
the book. Barney definitely does not. And
Yeah, I actually, I'm fairly engrossed in a copy, and if you look, you see it says Swashbucklers, Best Bucklers.
He's found the lazy boy. He's got the footrest out.
Yes, he loves it here.
The
Gotta
tiny
skin her a brandy.
bifocals.
So, Slick Lou, you ended up, what, a 12? Am I right? Or something
Yeah.
like that? That is not enough. You're busy looking through books for log books on the other side of the library.
I'm
So
going to
as you hear this.
hiss, kind of toward my companions. The book is here. Someone come get it, and I'm gonna kick it back toward them.
Okay.
And
It
then
slides across the floor, still open, kind of turning as it does so.
I'll mage hand and have it just pick up off the floor and
Okay,
land
the
right in
book
my
goes
hand.
right to your hand, and she turns to look at you with those wide eyes.
I'm still holding her with the knife.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's turning her head slightly to try to see who it is.
I'm standing right frickin' there.
I'm. Oh, go ahead.
I know why you're here, I think.
Well, now, you have seen something you are not supposed to see. What are we going to do about that?
I don't know. I don't know. What do you want?
What are you planning to do about that?
I was asked to report on what was in these books.
And what is your report going to be?
Make an intimidate check, please. Wow, she rolled a whole 4, so that's a 7.
Oh, I only got a 9.
Okay, you're not like pouring it on because she's like already clearly terrified of you and you don't think she's much of a threat in the first place. So you're just pretty much being yourself and she just finds it terrifying. Okay, and she would say, I'll say there was nothing of interest in the books. Is that what you want?
I kind of pull the knife away from her neck just a little bit, and I kind of turn it over in my hand, and you are wise. Now you know that we know where to find you, should we ever hear that your report was different.
Kallista.
I understand. I understand.
Kallista.
Names? Idiot.
It's like kicking her behind you.
I'm shaking my head and I just say, she knows too much. Do it.
What do you think? Do you know too much?
I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I promise. I promise. I'll tell no one. No one will
But
know.
we got what we came for.
See, it would be much simpler if we do not have to clean up a mess.
At this point, Mortimer and Theris, you guys are done in the office, and you also heard all the craziness happening outside. So Theris did poke his head out there to kind of see, and he would look back at you and say, "It's pitch dark. It's probably Kallista."
I have heard of this power.
Maybe we should head out. It seems they've got the other part covered.
Yes, wasn't I supposed to destroy the book, though?
Yes, that's true. All right. Well, then I suppose we'll wait here. Or head back to the balcony.
Balcony.
Okay. So the two of you start shimmying back out the way that you came.
Can I, at some point in this, use message to alert Mortimer to the fact that we have the book?
Yes. At that exact moment, as you're going to climb out the window, Mortimer, you get the message from Lou.
We found the book. If you have the opportunity, take your shot.
Okay.
Okay.
The rest of you, pack up, get out. I will take care of this and follow you.
Okay. We're
Yeah.
going.
Arabella
Unless
looks
you want to put the
terrified,
book
and
in
she
the
says,
fire.
"There's nothing to take care of. I promise. I promise. I won't tell anyone. Just spare me."
I want to go find Mortimer and Theris, and I leave the room.
Okay, you head out.
I will leave the room and, like, kick Barney in the peg.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Attention. Be like,
Arr!
We found what we were looking for. Let's go. Let's beat it.
Let's beat it. Cheese it. It's the cops.
Okay, so where are you guys heading? Theros and Mortimer are heading back to the balcony.
I want to kind of.
I'd like to try and sneak back to the balcony as well.
Okay, are you guys going through the bedroom again?
I will.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess.
Barney?
Barney, just go out the window. Cannonball.
Just dive.
Push him out the window.
Take one for the team, Barney.
I can, if we have to.
It's up to you. What you would like to do? Are you
Let's
going
do
to
it.
follow them through the bedroom?
You've just read a particularly gripping tale of an escape.
There's
out the
another way
window.
out through the office, or there's a library window.
I am good at escaping, so let's go for the escape.
Okay, all right. So you're going to use the library window then?
Yep.
Okay. So you unlatch the window and open it up. You're on a second-story window looking down. There are some bushes below.
I jump.
All right, make an acrobatics check.
All right.
Geronimo.
19.
Hey!
Hey!
Yeah, you're used to jumping around boats and stuff. You're a swashbuckler.
Yep.
You can buckle all the swash. You do a daring flip out the window.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom.
Do a cool landing down below.
Turns out my peg leg has like a shock absorbing system, so it's just
Yes!
like a
It's got a spring in it, so you
Yeah.
can use it to.
yeah, like a pogo
Amazing.
stick. I just jump out.
Awesome. So good. All right. Well, the rest of you get out on the balcony except for Kallista. So it's bottom roll here. Mortimer, Tess, Lou, and Theris are on the balcony.
As we're making our way through the bedroom, I would like to shut the doors out to the foyer and lock them behind us.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that
Smart cookie.
Kallista cannot follow the way that we're going.
All right.
And I'll lock the door to the balcony as well.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Kill him.
Wow. Dark. All right. Theris looks back at Yul and he says, "Mission accomplished. We have it.
We've got it right here.
Can we destroy it here or take it out? Where's Kallista?"
She's still
Dealing
talking
with
to
the secretary. She'll be along shortly.
Tying up loose ends.
I see. He looks at Mortimer. Are we taking care of that here?
No.
Okay. And he looks over at Lou and says, "Is your rope good for getting down, or do we have to find our own way?"
I'll tie a rope to the balcony so
Okay.
that he can kind of rappel. I'm not going to use the spell. And I'll hand the end to him.
He takes the rope.
I'm going to wait till he's over the edge, and then I'm going to pull out a dagger and cut the rope so that he falls.
Okay. So
If I could do that with like sleight of hand so he doesn't notice.
I was going
we
to
cut
say,
the rope.
please make a sleight of hand check.
15?
15. So he does notice you pull the dagger out because he got a 22 perception check. But make a bluff check as to why, because there are a lot of reasons you guys might have a weapon out, and his mind might not immediately go to because you're going to cut the rope on him.
Bluff is a 17.
Okay. His sense motive is a 11. So he sees the dagger in your hand.
And I'll just kind of turn back over my shoulder and say,
You have his back. Yep. And he goes to take the rope to go down first. And
and
he
as soon as
grabs it, rappels over the side, and you cut the rope. And Barney, because you're outside around the corner, you can make a perception check.
Okay.
The rest of you would all hear
Ooh.
the thud.
Not natural 20.
Nice. Yes, you would also hear something hit the ground around the corner. Lou, why don't you make a perception check?
that's not great. 9?
Okay, you're just like, yep, I did it. Job done.
I want to get down fast. I want to like rig up another rope and zzz.
Tess got another rope sliding down there. You make
I'll
a
slide
perception
down
check.
too.
You can both make one.
Perception is a 17.
17 for me as well.
You would see that Theros is laying down here. His arm is bent at an unnatural angle. He clearly landed on it, and he is not dead.
Well,
He is slowly trying to push himself
okay.
up off the ground at this moment in time. So I'm gonna have you all make initiative rolls for me, please. And you can too, Barney, because you heard it and you're right around the corner from this.
Oh, yeah, I'm all up in
Does that
this.
include me?
Yes, you
Okay.
can be included in this as well.
Initiative's in that
one
one.
stat that I didn't fill in on my character sheet.
Well, it's at least your dex mod, so go with that.
That one for me.
19.
Okay.
I'm savoring the moment.
You got a 20,
21.
Mortimer?
I did.
Ooh. Okay, and then a nat 1, you're down at the bottom. Tess. So Barney, you would come around the corner and you would also see the same thing. You would see that they are landing next to Theros. He's on the ground. He's clearly injured, but he's trying to get up right now. And you would have an action left because your move is to get around the corner.
Mm-hmm. 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 So who am I attacking here?
Well, you know
Theros.
that you're supposed to kill Theros, and he seems to be injured heavily.
So I pull out my rapier, and I say, "Avast, ye scurvy dog!"
Bonnie!
So good.
And does he avast?
Yeah, he's broken.
Does he
His body
avast?
is broken.
Does he have asked? Good question. He is trying to
Question
stand
for the
up.
ages.
So does that count?
Sure.
All right. So then that'll make it Mortimer's turn.
Okay. I am going to be like, "Oh, you're trying to get up. You're not going anywhere."
What are you?
And then he's gonna go and just splatter this nasty tar stuff and do adhesive spittle
Oh.
just all over him.
What is your class? What are you?
What?
Gross.
I'm an
Are you?
alchemist.
Gross.
I'm an alchemist, baby.
All right, he gets a reflex save to try to roll out of the way, but
Yep.
he was A, really not expecting that, and B, pretty injured. So no, he does terribly on his reflex save. He's not going to make it. So it will, in fact, tangle him.
So he's entangled.
Yeah, it sticks him to the ground, so he cannot get up. All right.
And then
And he would
he's
say, "Why are you doing this?"
just following orders.
Orders. And then Lou.
Lou is going to lift up his necklace and look back in towards the house and cast message and say, "Kallista, we got some gods out here in the back. Best try and leave by the front if you can."
All right.
And then I'd
Kallista,
like to use my move
the
action if I
message.
can to clamber down the rope as well.
Yep. So you can be clambering down this time. All right. It's Theros' turn, and he is entangled. So he's going to do his best to try to break free with the strength check here. But I mean, partly because he's fallen so far and injured himself so badly, he just does not have that strength. He got a 9. So there's no way he can break out of it. And he's weakly calling out, "Kallista! Kallista!" Oh no. Oh, but his mouth is partially coated with this gross stuff, so it comes out more muffled than anything. All right. Tess, you crit failed, right? So do you want to explain a reason why you are unable to act in this moment?
Tess is kind of like, for a half a second, everything goes like into slow motion almost. She sees this happening and she sees kind of everything she wanted laid out in front of her. And very slowly, almost in slow motion herself, she starts to go for her dagger, and the tiniest smile appears on her lips.
All right, she's just taking her moment here. Okay, Barney.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to have to go in for a little swipe.
Okay.
So I'm going to charge with my rapier drawn. And that is a 17 to hit.
That will hit him in the state that he is in.
Okay. Dealing, ooh, that's unfortunate for him. 10 damage.
10 damage.
Yep.
Okay. His last word again is attempt to say, "Kill it," and then your blade pierces through and his eyes roll back. He is unconscious and bleeding heavily. He is not quite dead yet at this moment in time, but he is very close to the edge. Mortimer.
Well, I'm going to look over at Tess and see what's going on with her.
Okay.
And can I ascertain whether she wants to do it or
You can
not?
make a sense motive check.
That is a 15.
Yeah, that makes it pretty obvious. She is really looking forward to being the one to get to do this.
He's gonna look over at her. All four eyes are going to look over her, give a Cheshire smile, and back away,
Oh my god.
and kind of like gesture to him.
All right. Lou is still climbing because it takes longer to climb. You climb at a quarter speed unless you have something else. So it's probably going to take you the rest of this turn to get down to the bottom of the rope, unless you just want to drop. Okay, so you will get down there, and that will take us to Tess.
Okay. Is he laying on his stomach or on his back?
He is on his back.
Okay. So I go over to him. You said he's unconscious?
He is unconscious.
I want to kind of slap his cheek and like wake him up.
Okay. It takes a second slap to rouse anything from him, and you're not sure how much he's able to see. His eyes are kind of rolling about, looking at the night sky above, like not focused on anything. And then finally they sort of drift past your face, but you don't know if he sees you exactly.
Okay. So I want to crouch down and I want to lean really close to him. And I just want to say, I know about you and Kallista. Yes, running away together sounded so nice, didn't it? So nice to start a new life.
And he tries his best to spit at you, and it's just like this little like mix of blood and that weird black stuff that like kind of comes out, but it really more goes down his chest than anything. He tries.
Go ahead. Think of that. Think of her. And I stab him in the neck.
Okay. All right. And because he's not really fully awake, I will let you do coup de grace damage here. He's pretty helpless at this point.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'm qualifying
We
it.
are assholes, guys.
Such a bad person. Coup de grace is ×2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be 6 points of damage.
Okay, that is enough. He had only 2 hit points left. You slit his throat and spill his final blood. In that moment, we are out of initiative. We're going to cut back inside to Kallista and Arabella.
I'm going to kind of tug her closer against me and whisper in her ear, first in common. If you ever speak of what you saw tonight, or what you read in that book, there will be nowhere you can run, nowhere you can hide that is safe. I will come for you. And then I'm going to repeat it in Infernal. Right.
Yeah, and you can tell. I'll make a sense motive. You can probably tell, but we'll make sure.
Even if she doesn't understand, Inferno's scary, bro.
You crit failed? Okay, you're too busy trying to remember the words in Infernal. Dad has made you learn it, but you're like, okay.
You
But
never
either way,
get a
it
chance to
sounds
use
good, and she seems terrified, like completely. And she would say, please let me go.
And then I'm gonna release her, and I'm going to. There's a window in the library to the outside?
There is. Yeah, that's where Barney went.
All right, I'm going to open the window, climb out to the ledge,
Okay.
and is there a way I can try to climb down the wall?
You could try to do an acrobatics to get to the wall from here. On this side, like the front and the back are a big distance, but these ones on the sides are closer to the exterior wall, especially
Right.
on this side of the manor. So
I'm
you
gonna
could
do
try
that.
to do an acrobatics to leap over to the edge of the wall, like the top of it.
That's what I'm doing. Use this one.
You crit failed?
Oh my God, 2 in a row?
Damn, we
Damn.
are min-maxing tonight.
I'm alive.
That's so sad. So sad.
Why Kallista is such a badass in the normal campaign, because she remembers this particular incident.
She remembers this moment and she was like, never again.
Hey, no one's watching.
I was useless.
Nobody saw that.
It'd be a fine day for an action point, chat. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, so when you fall, you're gonna take some damage from the fall as well. How poetic. Okay, anyway, you take 6 fall damage as you crash down to the ground, short of the wall. You probably bang your head against the wall slightly.
Can I then? How high is the wall? Can I then get up and try to vault
You can
it?
slowly stagger. This makes sense why your head is spinning slightly from the impact. You do not really hear anything else that is going around, potentially around the corner, and you are just trying so hard to get your bearings and climb over the wall, but you can make a climb check.
That die is in dice jail.
Banished.
Banished.
Hashtag banished.
22.
22. Yep, you managed to use that strength and get up over the wall with that adrenaline and onto the other side, into the shadows of the streets. With that, Kallista will head off on her own towards home. As the rest of you are now gathered around Thera's body, what are you planning to do with it?
I would
look
like
at more-
to
yeah.
I know.
summon Willard.
I'm sure Mortimer's got something in mind.
I was gonna say, I turned my head towards
That
Mortimer.
smile on his face is terrifying. Thanks, Frost.
I let you have the honors. Now let me have mine.
Oh.
All I want to do is summon Willard to come and untie the rope from the balcony so that
Okay.
we leave no trace of our
Nice, and your rope comes down magically after you. You know, you probably don't have long. The ruse within is probably going to be, the guards are realizing something's up. They'll probably come outside looking soon, so your time is limited.
Okay. After all of this, I'm gonna take out like a shit ton of vials, and I'm just gonna start pouring acid on the body.
Gross and horrifying.
Should I add this to the pile?
And I'm holding the book that we're supposed to destroy.
Is like completely unnervingly fixated on the corroding body.
Right, we'll just bring this back with us then.
Make wisdom checks, maybe.
Who
All of us?
Yeah, any of you can.
Ooh,
produced?
I got a 17.
Makes sense. 4.
Okay, 17, Tess, you're the one who thinks of this. You know, especially after your little conversation with Lucian where he was mad about you not having any proof about what you were saying, that he is someone who appreciates having proof about his jobs being done. So
Okay.
if you're too thorough here and have nothing to show, it may end badly for you.
Okay.
Just
All right. I tell Lou. I said, wait. I think we should take that back with us. And I look at Mortimer. I say, hold it. And I Jesus. Does Theris wear any kind of distinctive piece of clothing?
No, it's just
No,
normal armor.
Not really.
Does he have like a ring?
Do you have like a ring or?
Nothing that you can find.
Nothing like that. Okay.
How about a
this
hand?
is gross. I want to
A
take
head?
a lock of it.
It
I want
is
to take a lock of
gross.
his hair.
Okay. Some piece.
I
some
take it and I
random.
put it in my pocket.
Okay, his hair is very distinct.
I'll also like open the back cover of the book and just grab his hand and put like a bloody handprint in the back of the book and slam it closed.
Okay.
Ooh, look at you.
Nice. Smart.
Smart, Lou.
Yeah, evil, horrible way. So we're here for it. That's what the people wanted. They voted for this. So if they feel bad at home right now, they have only themselves to blame.
This is you made
all
us do
asked
this.
for
You
this.
made
Look
us
what
do
you made
this.
me do! Look what the monster I became!
I
Boy,
was
we,
good at it. I was really good at it.
You gotta spray him.
I'm
before
gonna
these
have
dogs
nightmares.
realize what's up.
Anyway, whew, bringing it back.
I just kind of wipe my dagger off, and as soon as we kind of finish up here, I'm like, we have to go.
Right.
And I
Yes, sir.
start sprinting just kind of at the least guard part of the wall and up and over.
Get out of there.
Just,
All right.
just to be sure. Gonna drop alchemist fire on him.
Oh my god. Just to be sure he's
I just
unrecognizable.
remember when he gave Leith all kinds of crap for lighting a bad guy on fire.
Listen, this is
Oh.
different. We are the bad guys and we're lighting
Yeah.
the good guy on fire.
Yeah.
We aren't trying to be good guys.
Yeah, it's a Halloween special.
Man.
And then he's gonna start walking, but he's gonna keep looking back with a creepy smile.
Okay. So you will all head back to the guild hall. And Kallista arrives separately from you all. And who is going to see Lucian first?
Probably.
I'll go in with the
Or-
book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I bring Lou in because he has the book.
Okay.
We recovered what you asked us to find.
So hold on. When you go in, you find that he is actually not present.
What?
Not sure where he is, but he's not there in his office.
Well, I suppose we just sit tight and wait.
Yeah, it seems like likely you know him. Like he'll be back before the end of the night. So it seems if you wait in the common room, he should be back.
Lou, I think you should leave the book on his desk, and then we can celebrate the job good done. A job
I
well
would
done.
rather hand it to him in person.
Well, then you can wait here, and I go out to the common room.
Okay. All right. So you guys are waiting out in the common room, except you're waiting in the office. Is that what you're doing, Lou?
Yep.
Okay. I wanna find Ogun.
He is actually out in the common room as well, with 3 of the people that he was talking to you about earlier. So these are Geely and Bess and Redstream, who are all friends of his, and they were all ones who had helped him find out that Kallista was keeping a secret. They're the ones he was talking to you about with that. And so as soon as you're there and he sees you coming back out of the office, he would gesture you over and he'd say, "How'd it go? Did it work?"
I just smile bigger than probably he's ever seen me smile. I'm like, it worked.
It worked.
I said, this is a change for us, and I want to kiss him.
Oh. And he just kisses you right back, and his breath has some ale on it, but he's still pretty enthusiastic here and seems pretty happy about this turn of events. But in that moment, somebody actually walks inside. It's not Lucian. It's another of the Brotherhood's pickpockets. His name is Salvador Crew. He was actually a friend of Theris's, as far as you know. And he's probably about 18. He's got like a skunk stripe of white through his dark hair. And he's looking around at all of you, and he says, "Weren't you all on a mission with Theris tonight?"
And I look around trying to pretend like I'm playing dumb, and I'm just like, we were.
What happened?
I look around, I'm like, I don't
And
know, and I
Tess,
look.
Make a wisdom check, Tess.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Wisdom check is a 3.
Okay. All right. Do what you want to do. But other
I
people
just-
can
yeah.
also, they're all in the room except for Lou.
I look around. I look at Barney. I look at Mortimer. I'm like, where was Theris? Did you see him?
Is
were
he not
supposed-
here?
You two can also make wisdom checks, Barney and Mortimer.
Oh. Oh, that I thought that was a 1. It's not a 1.
I got a 15.
8.
Okay, so Barney, you would know like that the whole plan was to make it look like he died, and you had the cover that there were a bunch of guards from Lou who probably told you about that on the way to Kallista. So it would probably make the most sense for the cover story to be as you were heading out with the guards that something happened to Theris, more than that you guys like lost track of him.
Okay.
Aye, it was a sad tale. There'll be songs sung in many halls for many years to come. But he was lost to Davy Jones's locker.
And his mouth drops open and he says, "What does that mean? What?"
Who's Davy Jones?
I understand your
And
confusion.
where's his locker?
It's just an old saying.
I go over to this kid and I'm like, it means he's dead. Maybe you should take your leave of this place.
He looks horrified. "You're sure? How are you sure?"
I just kind of look over my shoulder and I get like a small smile. And I just say, maybe you should take your leave of this place.
And he takes a few recoiling steps and then backs out of there and he leaves. Kallista, you had returned to your room. Not long after, there is a knock on the door.
I get up and I answer it.
And you can hear, it's the same guy, it's Salvador, and you hear his voice as you're heading towards the door. He's saying, "Kallista, I need to speak with you. Kallista, let me in. Kallista, this is important. Open up, please. Open the door."
I pull a dagger because I'm suspicious, but I open the door.
And you would see Salvador is standing there, and he looks stricken. And he
Do
would
I
say,
know that he's good friends? I would know.
You know that. Yeah, you know that. He would say, "You were on the mission tonight, weren't you?
Yes.
Did you see what happened to him?
What happened to who?
To Theris?
What? I
They
worked
just told
alone
me
with-
he's dead."
Who told you he's dead?
To Sarah. And the others.
Did they say what happened? They said they were out.
She said I should leave. She was threatening me. Do you know what's happening?
Let me deal with this. And I kind of push past him and just.
He nods. He doesn't follow. He's not going back there.
I'll just assume that they came from the common room.
Yep.
And so that's where I'm headed. And just, well, I'm just walking with a purpose, and my eyes are just completely flat and dead. There's no affect on my face whatsoever. And I just kind of slam the door open. I'm trying to make an entrance.
You would all immediately hear that. It's a loud noise as the door bangs open, drawing your attention. And Ogun is pulled Tasara on his lap, pretty
We're
happily
laughing.
here. They're laughing, having a good time, but the laughing stops for a moment as they turn and look back and see the look on Kallista's face.
And I scan the room. I'm looking to confirm that everyone's there except Theris.
Lou, you were in the office. Are you still there?
Would I
It's been
hear
a
the
while.
door slam
Yeah,
open?
it was very loud. You heard it even resonating across those two rooms.
So I'll just kind of open the door to the office and stand in that doorway and just kind of watch what's
Okay.
going
The
down.
door opens up and the little kobold is standing there as well. It's all of them.
Still holding
and
the book.
Kallista, make a sense motive check, I suppose.
21.
Oh yeah. You see the look on Ovid's face and the way he's holding Tesara and the glee that they have in this moment, even though Salvador just told you about Ferris, and you put two and two and two and two together very quickly.
One is missing.
There was nothing we could do, Kallista. He was lost.
Lost. Lost how?
We got
He fell.
separated. He fell.
You got separated or he fell?
He fell.
He was falling behind. The gods got him after he fell off the balcony. The rope didn't hold.
Hogan says it could have happened to anyone.
Happened to anyone.
Anyone.
Yep.
I'm going to walk over and grab Desara by the hair and yank her off.
Oh, God.
His
Pull
top.
her right off from him.
Okay. Okay.
Say it again. Tell me. Say it to my face what happened.
I want to punch Kallista in the frickin' face.
Okay, make an attack roll.
11.
Too much ale for you, Tesara. It goes wide, and she, holding you by the hair, yank you back away out of reach from being able to slug her.
So finally, I just kind of give up. I'm like, fine. If you want to know, I will tell you. I cut his throat. He thought of you at the end. As he gurgled his last breaths. How do you like that, hellspawn?
Make a perception check, Kallista.
12.
That's enough because it's very distinct. You would see in Tessa's pocket, poking out that she has right here, some of that distinct hair right there.
I'm going to pull out my dagger and put it right up, like under the point of it, up under her chin. Did you really think there was anywhere you could go? Did you think there was any way I wouldn't find out? Did you think there was any way I would let you walk away?
And you hear several chairs scrape back as Ogden and all of his friends stand up at that, and the sound of several swords being drawn. And you hear him say, Kallista, don't do this.
All I say to Kallista, I say, I suppose I didn't think I would get away. All I thought was, I'd be better than you. And I beat you.
We were no threat to you. We were leaving.
And I just smile.
You
And I say,
idiot, you could have had everything you wanted.
I have everything I wanted.
Death is what you wanted, because death is what you are going to get.
I beat you,
You did not.
didn't I?
No. And I slit her throat.
And as her blood gushes from her throat, cutting off that laughter of her success, or however Tessara believed in that moment, that is where we cut to a close of Kallista's Shot in the Dark.
Wow.
And for those who have not watched or listened to our Nightfall episode of our main campaign, might be worth going back and listening to it again now that you know the context of everything that came up. The end.
Oh boy.
We could do
You're like a
a
horrible person.
I am the worst.
a slight after tag of summarizing of what we do know is that none of the members of the Steel Brotherhood in that room survived and left to tell the tale. Only Kallista walked away from this room of corpses never to return until she could find her father and enact the true revenge on the person who had ordered Theris' death.
And I will say that as soon as she cut Tessera's throat, she started to cry.
Oh. All right.
I don't like being evil, guys.
We need to like never do this again.
That's what they did to us. They made us do this.
Yeah.
All right. How are we all feeling now? Tom asked in the chat.
Well,
Dig Leaf's backstory next time, because nothing bad happens.
It's just
Yeah,
cute,
right.
like little
just like
family
fun.
clockmaker adventures. Yeah, see, we're heartbreaking the chat now. That's what happened.
Yeah,
All right, well, thank you
I'm
guys.
looking forward to playing a good person again.
We do need to have our next T-shirt come out after this one. The Brotherhood of Evil Shady People.
2
I
new
would buy one
T-shirts.
of
I
those.
Heart Kurlak and the Brotherhood of Shady Evil Brotherhood.
Yeah, check them out in the Teespring store, coming to you soon. Already got I Heart Kurlak on its way, right? Really?
Members only
right.
jacket
So,
style.
if you are interested or brand new to Dice Tales, we are jumping back into our main campaign next month. Does anybody have the date for that? I should have pulled it up earlier. Somebody pulled it up on the calendar. We are coming back next month. So if you are behind, catch up. We got the podcast. You can find
November
it anywhere that
21st
podcasts
is our
are.
next date.
Check it
Yep.
out. We have people in the chat who know better than I do. So it is on the 21st. You can come
7
watch
p.m.
us. We are in the middle of a dramatic cliffhanger that we've been left off on since this pandemic
long
started.
time.
So we're
Yeah, 2
excited
heads.
to finally resolve that. Thank you guys so much. Thank you again to our wonderful sponsors, to Character Case, to Gaming Paper, to Sirenscape. Thanks again to Mini-Terrain Domain. Thank you to Barb for the awesome art that we got going on. And thank you to you, the fans, for making us walk down this horrible memory lane with Kallista. The suffering.
Terrible. I feel like
So
I'm not
much
gonna
suffering.
sleep
I
ever
feel like
again.
I need to go do community service
I gotta go
or
like
something.
I gotta like
to,
take a shower.
like,
Oh,
All right.
God.
On that note, we love you guys. Have a wonderful night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.